glasses are falling off. Sort them out.
Oh.
Oh, shit.
Guthorm glasses are full. Hello. We're live, by the way, on Channel 4. I don't know. Hey, everyone.
I had to shout at you because you couldn't hear me.
What?
I had to shout, his glasses have fallen off.
Oh, I know. I was
And
frantically
you still
pressing
didn't hear
buttons
me.
while I could feel Guthorm's glasses falling off. And the difficulty is, of course, when I've got the titles rolling, I can hear the titles in my earpiece, but they're incredibly loud in my earpiece compared to anybody talking to me. So it's like, oh. So Simon's there going, hello, do you come here often? It's a good club, this. And I can't hear him. Hey, everyone. Hello. Hello. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is. What day is it, Si?
Pressured. Sunday.
Precious. Precious. Why am I getting flashbacks to Grange Hill?
I don't
Anyway,
I don't know.
Yes, welcome everyone to Warhammer Sunday. It's that time of the week when Colin and... Oh, just me. Oh, yes, Colin's not with us today. He potentially might pop in later on, but he's not with us he's having a day off today. He's having a well-earned rest day, which I don't blame him for at all. Because he's been very busy lately, so he's telling me. He told me he's having a rest day today. I've told him he's welcome to pop in later on if he wants to, so he might do. But if not, have a good rest and chill out, Colin. Get your feet up, have a nice drink of something, and just chill out. Just chill it, bro. Chill. We'll be fine. We'll fight through the loneliness and that and everything. We'll survive, don't worry. But yes, welcome to Warhammer Sunday, that time of the week when I crack on with some Warhammer buildy and bring you along for the ride just for a few hours, just to hang out. Now, as you can tell, we're going a bit earlier today because I managed to get Mama Foxx up earlier today, so yay. So I can start moving the streams back forward a little bit. But yes, welcome. As always, before we get going, let me do my shout-outs to all my corporate supporters and people who make all this content possible. First and foremost, my channel, corporate channel supporters, that's emodels.co.uk and goblingaming.co.uk. Ooh, excuse me, burpage. Your onion rings. Ooh, your one-stop shop for all your tabletop and model making needs. There are links in the descriptions below the video for eModels and for Goblin. Please use those links. Don't just go to the websites, because those links are my affiliate links and it tells them I sent you and I get some income from that. So you're helping out the channel if you use those links. And of course, big massive thank you and hugs to my patrons and channel members who make all of my content possible. They make it possible for me to do this as a living. This is my job. This is my business. This is what I do for a job. It's the best job in the world. So big thank you to them. They help me literally by putting food on my table. If you want to support the channel, you can become a patron or a channel member. You can go to patreon.com/modelmakingguru to become a patron, or you can just press the join button underneath any one of my video contents. That will make you a channel member. You get loads of free stuff, access to all bits and bobs. Patrons get some exclusive content, and both get access to mine and Colin's live 24/7 offline Zoom hangout, where you can hang out with friends, either video or audio or just text, and just have a good time. Any time of the day you can drop in, drop out. It's just one of those hangout places that you can be cool and chill. It's a big safe space. You also get access to the Facebook group as well that's associated with that. So do consider becoming a patron or a member now. Don't forget, of course, if you're watching this, there is live chat. I'll be doing my best to respond to all chat, and of course, I do have someone with me as always. You can hear Mickey Mouse in the background there. But yeah, oh, that was quite good. Actually, I don't know if that was Mickey Mouse or Tiny Tim.
I'm not sure either, to be fair, but it was one of them.
Oh, no, living in the sunshine. No, I can't sing it because of copyright, but you know who I mean by Tiny Tim, don't you?
I do, yes.
Yeah. Bless Tiny Tim. But yes.
Well, now you've just made me think of Timmy Mallet as well for some reason.
Timmy! What's his second name? Mallet! I used to listen to Piccadilly Radio in my youth when I went to bed at night time. I'd listen to Timmy Mallet as I was going to sleep at night.
Was he really going for that long?
Yeah, he was around in the mid-80s when I was a young lad.
Retiring when I could remember him, which was probably, I don't know, maybe 6, 7 or 8 or something.
Yeah, he was probably in his 20s or 30s or something in the 80s. And then when he finished his radio gig, he did a lot of like corporate events and stuff.
Yeah, I think he was in a panto at the Kids Pavilion, which was like Southend's theatre. And yeah, I can just remember the promo posters was him in like an outrageously coloured Technicolor suit
Yeah, I think I've probably got memories of going to a panto with Timmy Mallet in as well, to be perfectly honest. But you know your career's on the wane when you're doing panto, because after that it's just corporate sponsorship gigs. Corporate
That's
gigs. What was I saying? Anyway, yes, don't forget, if you are watching this, I went off track there. We do have a live chat. I've got it here. If you're watching this and you can't see the live chat, if you're watching it embedded in Facebook or Twitter, click on the YouTube icon on the bottom right down there somewhere, and that will take you to YouTube where you can carry on watching and join the live chat, because you want to be in chat, because Simon's going to be our chat squig. He's going to be looking after the chat for us and asking me all the interesting questions, so you can ask him and I questions. Don't forget, of course, if you want to, another way to support the channel, if you want to get your comment noticed, you can type @ModelMakingGuru at the start of your comment. That'll put it in a little big orange box, a bit like that, and I'll see it. I'll have a chance to see it. Or you can do a super chat by pressing the dollar symbol at the bottom of the chat window. Puts your comment in a coloured box, a little animation pops up here somewhere, and it's all goodness, and you're supporting the channel. But with me, as always, is our good friend Colin. Might not be with us today, but Simon is. Si, how are you doing, my friend?
I am very good, thank you. I have recovered, fought off the velociraptors.
Yes, because you had the Peruvian death flu, didn't you?
Yep. I am well. I am currently trying not to snip my finger when I'm clipping stuff off the sprue, which is always dangerous.
Do you know what? God hands are a nightmare for that. Because you get your hand like right close like that, don't you? And then you get your little fold of skin caught in that bit, and it's like, yeah, la, la, la.
Well, I was supporting the sprue with my hand behind it and like clipping. So I have nipped a like just with the very tip of my nippers. I have nipped my finger before.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, that was quite painful.
Yeah, that is quite painful.
But yeah, man, apart from potentially nipping my finger off, I am good, thank you very much. How are you?
I am fine and dandable. I'm all good, all good. I have just this very yesterday, doesn't really work, just yesterday finished filming all the bits for the part work video, my latest part work video. I've got to do a little bit of voiceover.
You're up to date with it?
Yeah, well, I've got one box thing. Well, I've not done the Star Wars encyclopedias. Yeah, I've got to do those. But I've been putting it off for weeks and weeks. And I did it, and it was like 2 hours of work, and I'm like, oh, I could have just, you know. So I've got to edit that together. So that should be going up on maybe Monday, I think.
Yeah.
So I've got that done, and then when I've done that, I need to do my Star Wars encyclopedia. But when I've done that, I can start on something.
Well, where are you with the shiny boy Iron Man?
I have built a arm and a other arm and a head and a leg almost fully,
so
and a foot.
I'm assuming you've still got to catch up with that.
No, that's done. It's going to be
up to date.
Yeah, the video is going to be Iron Man and Dodge. It's another combo video with Iron Man, and it's just a catch-up video with Iron Man and Dodge Charger. Yeah. So Iron Man and Dodge are done. I've got a box of Dodge that came in as I finished it, but that can wait. So I've just got my Star Wars encyclopedia to do, and then. But my plan is this week, if I can, I need to start on a thing. I need to do something. I think what I'm going to start on is getting the Imperial Knight Canis Rex painted free models, I think.
Are you going with the box scheme for that?
Yeah, I suppose I should really, because if I just do it as something else, it'd just be like, yeah, if people aren't going to buy that kit, maybe if they want to paint it like that. So I'll probably paint it as the Canis Rex, but I'm obviously going to weather it, because Canis Rex is hundreds of years old and battled its way out without a pilot to rescue its pilot, Sir Hector Cerberon. So it's going to be a bit beat up because he was defeated, don't forget, and captured.
Yes.
And he was the last of his house, because he was the Knight House. He was the Knight of the House, last of his kind, and he got captured. And his Imperial Knight's spirit engine, machine spirit, that's it, was
got there in the end.
Slightly heretically advanced enough. We're not going to ask any questions to actually unchain itself and stomp its way through enemy territory and rescue its pilot, rescue the Knight. So there's probably some questions to be asked about that. But he's a free blade now, isn't he, I think?
You actually, you know way more about that character lore-wise than myself.
I had to, because I thought I've got to talk about it for a few minutes. So,
but yes,
I thought I might as well do a little bit of talky at the start and explain for the dear viewer what Imperial Knight is. So, but well, I think it makes him a free blade. So
I found something quite amusing out this week.
Oh yes,
I was chatting to some friends from GW.
Yes,
and we were chatting about how. So for those of you that don't know, and maybe haven't been in the hobby that long, there used to be a lot of satire baked in to Warhammer,
Yes.
specifically 40k.
Oh, before you start that though, let me just say what I'm working on today. I'm finishing off my Ork commandos.
Okay.
What are you building? You work on your Dakajet.
I am just snipping out all the little bits and bobs for the Dakajet, and if they are a fuselage or essentially a tube that needs to be together with a seam in the middle, they will be getting glued together.
Good.
Because all of the seams, all of the mold lines will run along the seam, so
yes.
I can clean them up once the glue's set and stuff like that. But
awesome.
Yeah. So
yes,
Warhammer used to be very satirical.
Yes, the whole thing is satire, isn't it? It's complete satire.
Not so much anymore, obviously, but there is still remnants of that satire that can be observed if you look in the right places.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, you've got like the Orks are supposed to be like football hooligans, and you know, the Imperium's, it's all very obvious. Everything's quite obvious, and then nobody's the good guy.
No.
And
so what I learned was actually about the Orks.
Oh, yeah.
And it had never occurred to me, but there is a specific reason why Ghazghkull Thraka, they no longer use his full name. His full name, which they used to use whenever they wrote about him on his box art, everything.
Yeah.
His full name is Ghazghkull Uruk Thraka.
Uruk. Now, isn't that copyright potentially the Lord of the Rings rubbish?
So it could be, but I'm going to say his full name slightly slower.
Okay.
Or actually, in the satirical format,
okay.
Ghazghkull Uruk Thraka, or Ghazghkull Margaret Thatcher.
Oh, I've got it. It suddenly clicked, didn't it?
Yeah. So, and supposedly, GW have never confirmed this, but supposedly they named Ghazghkull after dear old Maggie because...
for those that don't know, former British Prime Minister in the 1980s.
Yeah. In the way he's quite ruthless in his combat technique and stuff like that. But I just thought that was quite funny.
Yeah, because there are lots of little references and things like that throughout Warhammer that just...
Well, there are tons of them, yeah. Especially if you go looking for them, you will find them.
Yeah.
But I should probably catch up with who's in chat.
Yes, because you are the chat squig today, so, you know, do your job.
Yeah. Well, surprisingly, Panzer beat you in to your own chat today.
Well, there you go.
So Panzer is first.
Hello, Panzer. Welcome,
Panzer.
welcome. Hello, Panzer.
We've got Uncle Jeff. Hi, Uncle Jeff.
Hi, Uncle Jeff.
Candygram from Mongo, and then
Candygram from Mongo. Candygram from Mongo. You have to say it.
And then we've got Lee Eagles with us.
Hey, Lee.
Afternoon, Lee.
Afternoon.
Then Model Making Guru.
I don't know who that is. Some chump.
No, me neither.
Some chud.
Then we have Cora Pink with us. Good afternoon,
hey,
Cora. Which I'm guessing, yep, Ross is there too. Hi, Ross.
Hey, hi, Ross.
We've got the Bobbins with us.
Hello, the Bobbins.
We have Mr. Graham McRobert is with us.
Hey, well. Graham. Hey, Grump.
Hey, Graham. I am not on live chat because I'm a spoon.
Because you're stoned? What?
No, because I am a spoon.
Oh, you're a spoon.
Yeah. And then Philly's with us. Hi, Phil.
Hey, Phil.
Panzer now has in his mind the scream Cy would let out if he actually cut his finger off. You see, I don't really. If I cut myself or something, I might.
Would it be a big girly scream? Should we just get out of the way? Would it be a big girly scream?
No, it wouldn't be. Like, I'm really calm when I injure myself.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I might. Like, at Foxx knows, I had Stabity on Friday. I just changed the blade in my scalpel and I was cleaning up some of the new Ork boys.
Oh, yes.
Because I want to paint the new Ork boys alongside the war boss that I've been working on. Fresh blade, drew the blade across the model, and obviously I was holding the model with my thumb and another finger on my left hand. And as I drew it off the model, literally the blade just grazed across my finger.
Oh.
Like, I didn't even feel it cut.
Oh, they're the worst, because that's like, they're the deepest cuts, because they go past all the nerves and they just go straight through your bones.
Yeah. And then I was like, okay. And then I saw blood, and then I was like, oh, pants. So then I went and grabbed the kitchen roll and cleaned it, and then glued it.
Yeah. Well, people know what I'm like when I stab myself, because I do it all the time on camera. So I'm just like, arse.
Yeah, I like, that didn't hurt. It was just like, oh crap. It was like one of those that I didn't even feel, and then it peed blood for about 10 minutes. Like, absolutely peed blood.
Oh yeah.
Like that picture that I showed you, Foxx, of the bloody kitchen roll. I think that was the 4th or 5th sheet of kitchen roll that I'd used.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're talking to the guy who cut his ear with a blade, with the razor, because I had a little hair on my, on the outside of your ear, like not the earlobe, but the outside, the the top of it. I had a little hair sticking up because I'm an old man now, so I got my razor. I was having a shave and I thought I'll just get like that over the top of my ear, and of course I just nicked the skin, and that bled like a stuck pig for like an hour.
Yeah.
But I can just say, by the way, I have just changed the blade and didn't stab myself.
I was trying to not say too much.
You were sitting there going, ha 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 ha.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah.
Frankie Goes to Hollywood has joined us.
Hey Frankie.
Hi Frankie.
The one I tend to get quite often is when I'm doing like cutting like this, and I'm doing that with my thumb to bolster it. What I often find is the thumb that's behind the blade, so like that, ends up kind of creeping up there.
Yeah. So
I end up with like not cuts but scrapes and scratches on that bit of my thumb because it's resting on the edge of the blade and gets pressed against it.
Oh, dude! Like my thumb. If I haven't modelled in a couple of months, like when I was AFK over Christmas, like my thumb had completely healed, but within 2 weeks of being home, it looked like a Google Maps Street View of New York. Yeah,
it's like because you see there, I'm doing it with the blade on my thumb like that. It's just habit.
It's exactly how I hold mine as well.
It's just you can't, because then it stops the blade bending. You see, which stops scratching on your plastic. But
we need to stop presses, Foxx, because we actually have a modelling question.
Oh Christ, do we?
Yeah, but it's a very easy one.
Oh, okay, go on
then. Bill Cropper has joined us.
Hey, Bill.
Good afternoon, Bill.
Good afternoon, Bill.
Bill asks, are God Hand nippers worth it? Or is there something that does 90% of the job for 50% of the cost? In my opinion, Bill, God Hands are worth it. However, there is another pair of nippers on the market that are as good as God Hands.
And they have a stupid name.
And they do have a stupid name, but I think God Hands are what, about 55 quid in the UK?
Last time I looked, they were like 45, 50 quid, yeah.
Okay.
Something like that.
There's a brand called Display. They're a Chinese manufacturer.
I have to say that brand name is like one of those made-up Amazon brand names that seems to be the scourge of Amazon at the minute.
Yes,
Display,
it is, but they make gorgeous tools.
Yeah, they do.
And they have a nipper called the STA 3.0s, and I have a set, and I adore them, and I'm pretty certain
I'll just be back in 1 second, buddy.
Yeah, no worries. And so I would swear by these displays. I've had God nippers in the past, and I find that these do literally exactly the same, Bill. STA 3.0s. And they are approximately £35-ish. If you do a little Google foo, buddy. But I warn you, if you start to get some display tools, you will fall in love with them, because I have several display tools and they are all gorgeous. They are obviously towards the upper end of the market, but they are absolutely excellent tools. If you want something even cheaper, for around the £25 mark, you can get some of the Tamiya pointed nippers. But it really equates to time. So with God Hands or the SCA 3.0,
I'm back.
Welcome back, dude. You can literally, you can nip something off the sprue at the sprue point, at the nub, and the nub you'll be left with is so inconspicuous. You could realistically get away without doing anything to it.
Ooh.
But if you use, say, the Tamiya side cutters, 100% you will have to go in with a blade or an emery board or a sanding pad or a file to remove that nub. If not both, an abrasive and a blade.
Yeah.
So ask yourself, how many kits are you building a year? If you're building 10 kits a year, and per kit, not having a set of God Hands or STA 3.0s costs you an hour of your time extra in cleanup, how much is your time worth?
Yeah.
Is what I would say.
How lazy? Yeah, I would say, how lazy are you? it's my way of looking at it. I'm very lazy.
What are your thoughts? You've had God Hands for years now.
Yeah, I was gifted these God Hands, and they've survived somehow. And look at the metal finish on that. It's like null oil and a dry brush of Necron compound. It's gorgeous.
Beautiful.
I would say, if you live in the UK, don't even bother trying to get God Hands. It's not even worth it, because they're 45-50 quid for the clippers, and you'll pay 45-50 quid shipping. That's why I've treasured these for 3 or 4 years, because these were gifted to me. I always wanted God Hands, but I never bought them because I wasn't going to spend 100 quid on clippers. They are really nice, so I can't say what the Display ones are like. I'm sure they might be better. But they
are on par.
Yeah, I do love these deeply, because they're not no clean-up territory, but they are very little clean-up territory. It's not very often I cut things off the sprue with these. I do occasionally if it's a really small gate, but a lot of the times I don't use those. I use the what you were saying about the Tamiya clippers. Yeah, Tamiya clippers are like the cheapest garden secateurs. They're not great.
They're not great. There are YouTubers that absolutely swear by them. But
yeah.
I've had them. I had them, in fact, before I got my first set of God Hands, and I think I paid about 25 quid for them. And the extra £10 is worth the investment over the Tamiya any day.
There are those. There are people that swear by them, but those guys are fools.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm doing sanding this now, because I've got these Mr. Hobby, Mr. Tools, Mr. Nippers, or Mr. Cutters, I think they're called.
Yeah.
And these are like, what, 10 or 15 quid, I think, on e-models. And these are... Go on.
I'm the same as Foxx. The thing with... if you're building Warhammer kits specifically...
Yes.
Do not cut directly off the sprue with your God Hands or your display nippers.
Yeah, because you'll just trash them.
Just all I do is I have a pair of side cutters, which I believe are intended to be used by electricians, that were about 3 or 4 quid from Amazon.
Yeah.
I nip something off the sprue, leaving a healthy 2 or 3 mil nub.
Yeah.
And then I just go back in with the God Hands.
Which is what I'm doing exactly at this moment. I'm cleaning up these nubs with the God Hands.
It sounds like a ball ache, but it really isn't.
No. The God Hands are basically clean-up cutters. They're not... Unless it's got, like, you get, say, a Gumpler kit where it's got really tiny, tiny connection points on the sprue, which you do get sometimes, then it's fine. You can go right to the part.
Yeah, so...
But if it's like...
Tamiya kits.
Yeah.
If it's a Tamiya... I'm going to go as far as saying, if it's a Japanese kit, the way that they are engineered and the injection molding techniques they use, generally your sprue connection point is less than a mil thick.
Well, maybe not on some of the older Tamiya kits, but yeah, nowadays.
Maybe not on some of the older ones, but the more modern kits, you can just go straight in.
Absolutely.
But, GW generally have chunky sprues. I'm sure anyone in this chat is probably familiar with the big boxy sprue as Foxx is now.
Yeah, because like you look at that one there, and it's got this thin little collection point until you turn it that way, and it's like a dinner plate. So yeah, they're not subtle. They're connection points.
The thing with the GW connection points as well is on that part that Foxx was actually showing, which was an arm.
Arm.
That connection point actually goes around the curvature of the arm.
Yeah.
So if you go in with a nipper and then come back in with your god hand or your display
Let's see
nipper,
if I can zoom in a bit or something.
you can kind of you can nip to the curve, and again save yourself cleanup.
Why does that sound like some kind of 80s song? Nip to the curve.
I don't know. It does, doesn't it? Now I have just like this image of big hair and shell
Like
suits.
Pet Shop Boys type.
Yeah. But yeah, they're definitely worth it.
Yeah.
Frankie asked where Colin is. Colin is fine. Frankie, he just fancied a day off. He's been incredibly busy recently.
Yeah, he's been working his arse off all week, so he's having a well-earned day of rest.
What a lot of people, myself included, often forget is Colin had major surgery, literally like 4 or 5 months ago. And yes, he was off for a while, but since he's been back, he's just been solidly working. So
yeah,
he's just
taking a well-earned rest.
Probably spending some time with H as well, because obviously Cole's got kids,
and it is Mother's Day, yeah.
So yeah.
Hello, Mama Foxx.
And yes, Adaptation Latrina. So there are stockists that carry God Hand nippers on Amazon, but it's the kind of stockist where they dispatch from
Japan
China
or
Japan
Korea,
yeah. So they still take 3 or 4 weeks, and
you'll pay a lot in import, or you'll just pay a lot of shipping.
Yeah.
If you don't pay any, sometimes you get no shipping cost, but then you get slapped with import duties. So, but yeah, I was saying earlier on, I use my God Hands just for. I say, okay, the only kits that I ever use are like if it's a really tiny connection point, and you know, but I do have this pair of Mr. Hobby, Mr. Tools, Mr. Nippers.
Yeah.
Mr. Hobby ones. They're not expensive and they're really, really good. I can't remember what they are, but someone's a green handle. These are great for heavy duty work. This is for getting things off the sprues. I wouldn't use this for fine cleanup because they're a bit too hardcore. I also have a set of the Citadel cutters, which I don't use that often, but they are like industrial strength, so they're for like cutting sprues up. They're for like snipping sprues into little pieces, and I use that for kind of real heavy industrial work. If I've got like a piece of spare kit that I want to cut in half to put some battle damage, I'll use them because they're like 1.5 inches thick. But yeah, if you're in the UK, I wouldn't bother with God Hands. It's not worth the money because you'll be paying upwards of 80 quid, including your shipping. If you can get them locally wherever you are, then them or the Display. I must get some Display clippers at some point and try them out.
Yeah, I mean, as someone that's used both, they are on par. I have just checked the finest stockist of all model making goods in the UK.
Yeah.
And they don't carry the green-handed ones.
They do, but they probably won't have them in stock if they're not there. Because that's where I got these from. They
do have the these are your options. There's a link in chat for those of you that are interested. I think they're the Mr. Basic nippers are essentially the same.
Yeah.
And they're like £14.50.
For your heavy duty, Stabity, there you go. For your heavy duty, I don't think it's little tiny Stabity. For your heavy duty cutting things or sprues nippers, you can go cheap. You don't have to spend a fortune. That's where you can get things like this, or if Tamiya nippers are your only option, then they're fine as long as you're cutting it with a good few millimetres off the sprue. They're heavy duty ones, but for cutting off the sprue, you don't have to worry about. Look at that little tiny cut. It's rubbish.
That is a pitiful cut.
It's when you're doing your clean up with nippers for clean up that you have to start thinking about the quality of them.
So Paul Di Tomato
Hey,
asked
Paul.
if I use the Display self-adhesive sandpaper. Yes, Paul, I do actually. So I have a range of sanding bits and bobs from Display. I have some of their sanding boards, which they're about 3 inches long by about 6/8 of an inch wide.
That's what she said.
And they are the same size as the pre-cut self-adhesive sandpaper. And it's an aluminium board, and I find that great for cleanup on straight edges. I initially bought them when I was knee-deep in car kits, and they were really great for that. And they still have their uses for Warhammer bits, but not as much. But then I also have, they are carbon fiber sanding boards that again accept the self-adhesive sandpaper, but they're in various really fine triangular shapes, or kind of like a 2 or 3 millimeter thick wide length, which is just really good for getting into tight spots.
All your funky sanding stuff. That's the kind of stuff you actually need for things like cars, isn't it? Where you need a glass smooth finish.
Yeah, but I still find them useful for GW stuff.
Oh yeah. Whereas I'm completely lazy, and I've got some of the Infinity sanding sponges that have been sent to me by Wendy and others, and some UMP sanding, and that's about as far as I go because I'm late. And a few files. And I'm just lazy.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing shiny cars and things, so.
I'm just. If anyone ever wonders how anal I am about cleanup, I am obviously cleaning up, as I said a bit earlier, some of the new Ork boys, and one of them, on their left foot, they have a boot with a heel, for lack of a better word.
Mm-hmm. Well, it could be a heel.
The other foot, which was raised as if they were running, didn't have a heel on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I made a heel out of plastic card because it bugged me. And so I get anal about that kind of stuff.
Just the way to think of Simon's speed is if you think I'm slow, I'm hypersonic compared to Si Reynolds. Like I've just done that backpack now. That's about a week's work for Si. So.
It's not that bad. I would probably spend a good solid hour on that backpack though.
Yeah, like I made a little nick with my knife blade there. There's a little dimple, and you probably fill that in. I'm like, yeah, I'll just sand it away. Phil Lewis says, "Oh Foxx, oh go on."
It would depend on how deep the dimple is.
How deep is your cut? Da, da, da.
Oh Foxx, I got you that handle, so there'd be less stabity. Yeah,
yes.
But...
Well, the thing is, it is a safety handle, so I can't drop it. But the thing is, it doesn't stop me going like that, which is what I did. I went like that and jabbed. I'll put it that way. I went like that. So the handle stops me doing stuff when the blade's away. It's not going to roll off the desk and stab me in the foot. But when the blade's out, all bets are off.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
That is the main issue, Phil. Is
I am an idiot.
It's a safety blade. But at some point, the blade still has to be out for it to
and when
work.
the blade's out, there ain't no safety.
No, indeed. But yeah, so Paul, if you've got the MadWorks boards, the display sandpaper will work fine. I personally.
Am I using Colin's thing in the right way, putting things in it? Is that how I'm supposed to use it?
I mean, it's a disc. Alongside the display, when I need a rigid sanding surface, I use
steady
the
now.
display stuff. But I also
use,
focus. For most of my sanding, I use the Tamiya sanding pads, which again you can get those from eModels if you're in the UK.
Yep.
And I find the display grit, say a 400 grit to a 600 grit, the abrasiveness will be exactly the same as the Tamiya stuff, because I sometimes find 400 grit from one manufacturer will be smoother or rougher in terms of abrasiveness than another manufacturer.
Yeah, when they make their sandpapers and stuff, manufacturers tend to be, the grit level is relative to its own other products, basically. So
Yeah.
There's no universal standard. But I am completely lazy, so I just use the minimum number of sanding products I can. Which means I can sand a whole thing just with like one sanding sponge because I can't be bothered getting the other one out. So, and I don't know why, but I really can't be doing with sandpaper. Like, in my entire collection of tools, I've got a few little pieces of like not very coarse sandpaper. I just can't be doing with it. I want a sponge or a file. I can't be doing with little bits of sand. I don't know why. When I have to, if I've got like some sort of hollow structure, like a thing with a gap, and I can't get a sponge in there, and I have to reluctantly get sandpaper out and fold it, I'm really grumpy about that.
Yeah,
I don't know why. And also because I've only got real fine sandpaper, like 25,000 grit, which is fine if I want to spend 3/4 of an hour sanding one thing away. Yeah, I really probably should get some rougher sandpaper.
Well, I tend to so I tend to use 600 and then 1,000 if I really care. Otherwise, it'll kind of be 600. And 600 once it's primed, you really it doesn't need to be glass smooth at the end of the day.
No,
I'm not going for showroom quality Orks.
No, I mean if you're doing like a shiny car or something, that's when you want to go up through the grits incessantly and insanely in the same way you would with an actual car. You go up to 3, 5, 6, 8,000, 12,000 grit. You'd be going up and up and up and up to get. If you're painting a shiny surface, you need absolute flatness, don't you? So
I've got micro mesh for that.
Yeah.
So I have never got round to painting my McFarlane Space Marine.
Oh yeah, neither have I.
It's clean, and I will paint it at some point, but I think I might paint it with contrast, but I'd love to do it as a Blood Angel. Yeah. And I'd love to do it with like a retribute around my gold base, and then like a red contrast over it, so you can get that kind of metallic, almost candy red.
Would contrast work like that though? Because contrast's not.
No, it would.
From my experience, my experience of contrast is it's not that great on big flat surfaces. It's more for organic things. It looks great, but
it would work like that. But I would airbrush the contrast.
Oh, airbrushing it. Oh, in that case, yeah, that's absolutely I see what you mean.
I would not. I wouldn't even contemplate trying to use contrast on a big ass flat surface like that.
Would you not then go for something instead like Tamiya Clear Red?
Potentially.
Or trying to think one of the other ones. I would say Bloodletter, but you can't get that anymore.
No, but yeah, it would essentially be a translucent red.
Yeah.
Of some variety over a gold.
Yeah.
And I lacquers are fine for cars and stuff, but a part of the reason I've steered away from doing cars recently is just
they're not Warhammer.
Well, there's that, but I love the finish of lacquers, but I hate the smell.
Well, if you're living in a small apartment or flat like you are, then don't want to use lacquers anyway.
No.
Because you'd have to just go outside for like 3 hours and it's cold, you know what I mean?
Pretty much.
Happy Mother's Day to Mama Foxx, says Phil Lewis. Thank you very much. I got her a lovely I did get some flowers for both her birthday and Mother's Day, so it was like a gift for both. Good to see you back, Si, says Graham.
Thanks, dude. It's good to be back.
Yeah. Panzer Cat says, rule of thumb, where Foxx is concerned, there is no safety blade.
Very good.
Foxx, when you're not in focus, you're channeling your inner Ted. It's because if you watched on the Friday Frolic with me and Colin, my camera died. So I had to go and grab an extra camera, and I had a spare Logitech C920. But the problem is, the camera that died was the old C920, and the camera I've got now here is the new C920. Which means that the old camera loaded certain software when you want to do your focus and stuff and change all your... And that when I fall out of the stream, it kept the settings. The new one loads the new software, and for some reason this time I'm not able to revert it back to the old software. So every time I fall out of the stream, it'll revert back. The focus and exposure will revert back to default, and it's like a pain in the bum. So
well, it's just like, can you remember when you were trying to help me set up my webcam, and you sent me the drivers that you use for your old camera?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming we have exactly the same C920 now. Because...
Yeah, but for some reason when I go into the options to change the drivers back to the old ones, it doesn't give me the option of choosing the old ones, no matter what I do.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's the same shortcut on the desktop. I click the button and it loads the software, but if I do it with the old camera plugged in, it's the old software. If I do it with the new camera, it's the new software. It's like, oh, how can one shortcut go to... Oh, so it's obviously detecting which version it is. There's nothing I can do. I can't change it, so it does mean that every time I fall out of StreamYard, if I fall out, then I have to come back in and change the focus. So it's entirely possible that I'm slightly out of focus because I've been in and out of StreamYard a few times, so do let me know.
So, will do, man. Adaptation Latrina is lucky. They have a store very close to them called Hobby One Japan that stocks Mr. Hobby, Tamiya, and the likes of God Hand and whatnot.
Oh, lovely.
I mean,
yeah, there's distribution in the US, but in the UK and Europe not so much. Well, UK not so much.
Plus, in the UK, model shops these days are few and far between, unless you're talking about a Warhammer store.
Yeah, most of our model shops, actual physical stores, are just garbage.
There is one store in the wonderful town of Ipswich, and it's a model train shop.
Yeah, a lot. For those that don't know, in the UK in the 1990s, a lot of model shops that used to sell all the models became. It's kind of like, you remember how like the video game thing crashed in the 1980s. Here in the UK, the scale model thing crashed in the 1990s. And to survive, a lot of model shops went out of business, but to survive, a lot of them had to stop selling models and instead went to things like remote control and trains. Because apparently trains are still popular. So yeah, so model shops now in the UK, few and far between. There's online ones, of course, like emodels.co.uk, sponsor of this channel and your one-stop shop for all your model making needs. emodels.co.uk, make something awesome.
But to be fair, there's not even that many online retailers now. Like eModels is almost certainly the biggest that I know of anyway in the UK.
Yeah, those are the little ones, but it's just, yeah, and there are quite a lot that again still just do trains and airfix and remote control. So ones that sell like Tamiya and stuff like that are few and far between. And ones that sell more esoteric stuff, like, you know, Mr. Hobby and say Bandai and stuff like that, it's even fewer and far between. So, yes, we live in the wrong country. America gets everything.
Yeah. I mean, we do have our equivalent of Hobby Lobby.
Yeah, we've got what's it called?
Is it Hobbycraft?
Hobbycraft, yeah. Yeah, but even if you go into Hobbycraft now, it's mostly Airfix and Revell. Well, it's pretty much Airfix. In fact, it might not even be Airfix anymore. I think they stopped doing Airfix. And a little bit of Tamiya, maybe.
They have a few Tamiya kits.
Yeah.
But they don't generally carry the newer releases. It'll be the kits that Tamiya released like 15 or 20 years ago that they still manufacture today. Like
it might be Tamiya they're not stocking anymore. There used to be a good place. There used to be a good place to get Tamiya paints, actually, Hobbycraft. But
I haven't been into Hobbycraft in probably.
I'm gonna guess 2 years.
6 months.
Okay.
Ish, just because the missus wanted some fabric stuff.
Yeah. I've been into Hobbycraft. I used to go all the time because it was the fastest way for me to get Humbrol 49 matte varnish rattle cans.
Yeah.
Because other than that, you have to order it online, and it takes a few days. But they actually used to stock it, so I could walk in, and I actually walked in once and bought like 12 cans of matte varnish, Humbrol matte varnish. Cleared out their stock, and it was like about 3 months before they got more back in. I'm like, oh, that was me, that was. But I know they've stopped stocking a lot of stuff now. I can't remember whether it's Airfix or Tamiya or Revell they've stopped stocking. But again, they're not exactly got a lot of stuff. They've got some tools and things. I find them very useful for buying the Easy Box Company plastic cases to ship models in.
Yeah, that's my main reason that I ever go to Hobbycraft is to get multi-compartment boxes.
Yeah, stuff like that.
The only reason I really ever go.
Yeah.
Oh, pants. You know, I glued this fuselage together months ago.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have to get a chisel down into the tail slot because it doesn't want to locate. So I'm pretty sure I've got some glue splooge inside the tail.
How can you get glue splooge if you're using extra thin or normal regular Tamiya?
What, normal extra Tamiya?
No, they're using extra thin or Tamiya or something.
Yeah, but I similar to Colin, I mix my extra thin with DMA Plasterworld. But also, if I gluing something like a fuselage, I will use Tamiya cement, the white top stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about the regular. And
I will put that in excessive amounts. So I purposefully get glue splooge. Because it's so much quicker than farting around with Milliput or even Sprue goo. Like, I love Sprue goo, but having to wait for at least 8 hours before I even touching their part.
I'm pretty sure with the fuselage, I can't remember how I did it now, but I probably used a bit of the regular Tamiya on the flat open areas and just a bit of extra thin and squishing for the rest, I think.
It's either I've got a little bit of glue splooge in the tail slot, or I don't know. It kind of locates, but it doesn't want to see.
Would it not? Is it not easy just to file down the tab that's on the tailplane?
Well, I that's what I would do. I won't fart around with.
Yeah, path of least resistance, dude.
I will just. I'll either nip the bottom, so it's sitting proud by about 0.5 mil. So I'll probably just take the very bottom off the. I
think I might have had the same problem, to be honest. I think I just sanded it down a bit. I think. I can't quite remember. It's been a while. But I'll tell you what, there's nothing worse than glue splooge in your tail end. It's always... splooge in your tail end is never something you want to... Moving on. Joke died.
Dead.
Scale Model Ninja says they've mainly stopped selling Airfix. That's what it was. I know they stopped selling something. Which means they won't be selling Humbrol anymore, which is no use for me.
Last time I was in there, they had quite a range of Revell. Yeah. They had some Tamiya.
Yeah, they don't have a massive. They don't have a massive because they're like a hobby store. They sell all different things, not just scale models. So.
Yeah, well, not even a hobby store. I'd say a craft store.
Yeah.
So they have everything from oils, acrylics to little wood boxes you can paint to. Yeah.
It's like if I needed art supplies, that would be my go-to location. I mean, primarily because the local art store no longer exists, art shop no longer exists. But if I needed art supplies, like if I need oil paints or oil paint thinners, I go there because that's the only place that sells them. So if you're an artist, I am very tempted at some point to get back into painting with oils. I haven't done it for very many long years, but...
Oh, you could do like a Bob Ross series.
Yeah, but I haven't got the space for that.
Oh, you could call yourself Foxx Ross though. That'd be awesome.
Bob Foxx. Get myself a perm wig.
That'd be awesome.
I wasn't that, and unfortunately, it wasn't something I could paint in half an hour.
Well,
I've only got 2 oil paintings surviving actually that I've got. I did.
You should put pictures of them on your Patreon because I'd love to see that.
Well, one of them is on my Facebook page, but it's in an old archive of photographs on my personal Facebook page. But One of them was one I did for school, which was a painting on the theme of Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
So, of course, me being the one that draws funny animals, the focus of the picture is the white rabbit.
Yeah.
But I was young, so it's just a really badly done white rabbit that looks just like a bloke with a rabbit head. So it's not cartoony. And Alice in the background looks like some sort of 1910 slightly portly girl child on a Christmas card. It's not great. And the other one I did was one I did just by myself. I had a little canvas about this big. It was one of the canvas boards, not a canvas, but a little, oil paint board, daily board. And I don't know what I was doing, but I just basically painted a photograph, and it was basically two animal characters. One was shooting the other. I was a teenager, don't forget. One was in a suit, and if I'm thinking about it now, it looks a lot like the photograph of Jack Ruby shooting Lee Harvey Oswald. It's that kind of pose, where the person that's being shot is kind of like crouching forward and got the look on his face. I don't know what I was thinking when I was doing it. I was just practicing oil paints. And it's called, I think I called it "You Don't Get My Vote" or something. And it was, for some reason, in the background there were like shipping containers. I don't know. I was like, right, I've got to paint the background now. I'll just paint a shipping container. There you go, like it's on a dockyard or something.
Yeah, fair enough. I
was probably watching the A-Team or something at the time. I don't know. But anyway, so technically it's probably not very good, but I was like 16 or something, so it's probably quite impressive for the fact I was 16. But I think that's the only two oil paintings I've got that survive, I think.
Okay, so Phil East has just come up with the best name, which means you now have to do the Bob Ross series.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to call yourself Bob Foxx Ross Wolf.
Bob Foxx Ross Wolf.
Yeah.
Bob Foxx. I like that. Bob Foxx Ross Wolf. Oh, you know what I've learned over the last few months, by the way?
Oh.
Talking of that, a long time ago, and I obviously forgot about this, a long time ago I set up a Google alert. I didn't know you could do Google alerts. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people do it, but I set one up for my own name, obviously, and for things like model making gear and other stuff, because I want to know if somebody like tries to rip off my stuff or post something about me on a website that I need to know about for model making gear. So I did a few Google alerts because I read this thing so it'll send you a mail when it picks something up. I was like, oh, that sounds good. So if anybody ever mentions me on a website and it's searched by Google, and they put the keywords in, like, Fox Wolf, my name, then it'll let me know and I can go and see what that is and see the adoring praise or whatever it might be. The one thing I've learned is, with my name, it's all porn. It's all porn. Okay. Well, at least, because I did one of my Google alerts is for Fox Wolf, Foxx, and then my surname Wolf, WOLF, Fox Wolf. And yeah, every time I get a Google alert now, it's a porn website.
Disturbing that people are searching.
And it'll just because in the keywords it has Fox, F-O-X, and then Wolf next to it, so it could be like two different names, like the surname and the first name. It could be anything, but whenever it's got the word...
It could also be people searching for furry porn, you never know.
Oh god, yeah, Yif. Trust me, yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of that. So for some reason, whenever I get a Google alert, it's always oh, Fox Wolf has been detected. It's always a porn website. I'm like, oh god, another one. There's obviously a lot of porn individuals with the surname Fox, and there's another one with the first name Wolf, and it just puts them together in a sentence. So there you go, Fox. Oh, no, that's not.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, does mean I find a lot of porn sites though, so it's not all bad.
Well, yeah,
silver linings and all that, but
it doesn't necessarily mean that the porn sites you are inherently finding though are porn sites that you want to find.
Yeah, well, yes, yeah. Some of them not so much. But, yeah, some of them furry porn. It's like, oh god, no. I tell you what though, when people say to me, "Work out your porn name," it's like I
don't need to.
You don't need to do that one, thank you. Yeah.
Surprisingly, chat has gone dead at that prospect.
Yes.
I hope you're not all googling for that now.
Yeah, they are all googling. They are all googling. But it's always like, it always seems to be like it's like a list of names on a website, and that somebody will have the surname Fox, and then the next person in the list will have the first name Wolf because they're porn actors or people or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, Si, I have a question for you.
Yes.
I have here this weapon in my hand. I shall zoomulate so you can see with your eyes of looking. Bam, 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 bam. Right, I've got this weapon here. Looks like a bolt pistol.
Yeah.
But it's got this, I assume, like a suppressor on the front with a slit.
That is an old school Gorka Morka style slugger. Your question is probably going to be, should I still drill out the barrel? I would say yes.
Do I do a little tiny hole in the middle of the slit, or do I do a big hole in the middle of the whole thing?
So I personally would do just your normal drill size.
Okay.
So cut through the slit with the drill bit.
And just okay, I've got you. So make a big hole as normal.
Yeah, that's personally how I would drill it.
Strange barrel design. I assume it's supposed to just be like a barrel with a little notch in the sides, and that's just I'd
have thought so.
They've moulded it in 3-dimensionals. Excellent. I shall do that then.
Panzer has pointed out that there is another way to look at your issues with
form. I just saw that.
Yeah. I'll still read it out though.
Yes, please do. I was hoping that you would.
A lot of disappointed pawn trolls would result in, Warhammer Sunday bids.
Hey, no, maybe 90%.
And they might be into them, Panzer, if they're also into paint, because that's one of my favourite subjects.
Yeah. Oh God. I'll tell you what.
I'm not going to go into it.
I'll tell you what. When I was growing up and learning how to do the drawing, and discovered that I can't draw people, but I can draw animal-like characters, anthropomorphic characters. And I was like, cool, that's cool, I can do that, I like that, it's a good thing, it's not a problem. In the days before the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then the internet came out, and then furries were a thing, and it's like, oh, God. Because by that point, I've been drawing that kind of stuff for like 20 years, and now it's like, oh, were you a furry? No. Oh, what? And the stuff I get exposed to is like, there is a downside to drawing anthropomorphic animal characters.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
It is what it is.
I'm pretty sure I had a DeviantArt page for a while and a Fur Affinity page for a while, just because I was doing my webcomic and I needed the promotion. So I pimped it in places, and it was like, after a while I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna never update this page and never come back to it ever again, because the people that are sending me links, I'm not making the kind of contacts I want to be making.
I used to love DeviantArt. I used to just like crawl DeviantArt.
Oh, there's a lot of good stuff on there. And that's the thing, the anthro art scene, the furry art scene, I suppose, if you forget the fursuits and all the rude stuff, the actual anthro art is a great scene, very creative. It's just kind of tarnished by the...
It has a dark side to it.
It's tarnished by the deviant side of it, which is a shame. I found a lot of really awesome artists on there doing a lot of really awesome work.
Oh, there's the good old drilling squeak.
Yep.
Oh, it's ear piercing, but
it's not going to be centered, but I don't mind.
It's okay, it doesn't matter. I always I hate it when I get a perfectly centered orc drill barrel.
That's because you're an idiot.
Pretty much with all of my orky barrels, I'll like run my blade around the inside of it, because then the blade skips and you get like a jagged gun barrel. Because in my mind,
Well, I do that. I do that just to center the actual hole. I still want a centered hole in my barrels, even if it's orc. I can't. I can't cope with a not centered barrel. It's like no. See, that's not centered, but I need to fix that.
I don't want it off to one side, but if it's not perfectly centered, I can live with it, because I kind of widen it anyway with my blade.
Well, that's what I'm about to do now, because it's not. It's off to one side a little bit. So here comes the blade for the tidying up of happiness.
Generally speaking, the kind of size cartridge that an orc will use, they're going to be huge anyway.
Yeah. There we go.
But yeah, I haven't asked you guys in chat the almighty question of what's in your belly today and what's on your bed. And if you're having a roast dinner, what kind of roast dinner are you having?
Yeah, we want all the blurb.
I need to know.
Now, today, because I'm a lazy git, and because I'm doing the stream and I won't be finished till 7 o'clock, or whenever we finish, I'm doing Mama Foxx. I tend to just make Mama Foxx something for her, and then I'll make myself something later on. So tonight she is having a toad in the hole, which is a take off the film lid, put it in the oven for half an hour. There you go, done. She quite likes that.
I haven't had a toad in the hole in ages.
Yeah, and it's just like a giant toad with a couple of sausages in it, but, you know, hey, she likes it. Bit of gravy, there you go.
For those of you across the pond, or even if you are English and you're not familiar, toad in the hole is basically a giant Yorkshire pudding with sausages in it and more than likely onion gravy and that kind of stuff. The
sausages are actually embedded into the giant Yorkshire pudding, a bit like that crew member on the Enterprise D when they went through the thing and she was halfway in the deck. Or, if you're a conspiracy theorist, some of the crew members of the USS Philadelphia? No, whatever it was, in the Philadelphia experiment. In the movie, not in...
Have you been watching Picard, by the way? Are you up to date with Picard?
Yes.
I don't know how I feel about season.
Oh, by the way, because Colin's not here, you can talk about like Picard and Boba Fett and stuff now.
Well, that's why I brought it up.
Yes, I'm up to date with all of that.
So, I like the Q angle.
I love the bit where he appears and then he says, "Oh, I must catch up with you because you're old."
If Elnor is dead, though, I'm going to be annoyed.
Well, the thing is, it's time travel. Come on, do you really think Elnor's going to be dead? No, he's not going to come back at some point somehow.
Elnor is like a puppy. He is like the puppy of the Star Trek universe. They can't kill him off.
No, they're not going to kill him off. Do you know what made me? You know what made me really frustrated though? I was like, yes, oh, it was like the ultimate tease, where somebody said something, and the person said, "Oh, do you want me to go and get Admiral Sisko?" And I was like, yes, please go and get... Oh, they walked off.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, God, imagine... Oh, just... Ooh. Avery Brooks turned up in this would just be like, I'd just take all my money now and my kidneys and everything.
I tell you what, like, they are delivering with a solid amount of fan service. Like,
oh, yeah.
At the end of season 1, where Will showed up to save the day with the Armada.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that you remember the name of that ship, because I didn't even remember that he turned up to save the day again.
No, you see, the ship wasn't called the Armada. Well, I guess it was more a fleet, but he had a lot of Starfleet vessels behind him.
Do you know
when he was captaining the lead of the fleet, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Because they dropped it. They dropped it earlier in the season that he's on active recall.
Yeah.
So I was.
But do you know the sad thing is though that I honestly can't remember anything that happened in the first series.
It was a good series, and I'm glad that we took the time to rewatch it before we started season 2.
I enjoyed it, but I just can't remember anything. It's like I can't remember anything about the first 3 seasons of Discovery. I'm like, time travel woman suit thing. What? Now they're in the future. I don't.
Well, it's like in a similar vein that. So the only problem that I'm having with Picard is I can see exactly where it's going, because they drop hints that are so huge that you'd have to be blind to miss them. Like, I think it was episode 2 it might have even been episode 1.
By the way, spoilers, people, by the way. If anybody in chat doesn't want to know what the spoilers are, do let us know and we'll stop talking about it. I forgot to say that. If you don't want spoilers, let me know in chat ASAP and we'll stop talking about it.
But when Seven was walking through the Stargazer, she just arrived.
Yes.
And Raffi was explaining to her that it's the most advanced ship in the fleet because it's using tech that they got from the artifact.
And you know what I was doing? I was thinking, shit, what was the artifact? What?
Well, yeah.
And then I'm thinking, that's Discovery. Hang on a minute.
But it was like, well, obviously the anomaly is bright green. There's only one race that it's going to be. And then my other issue with it is the Borg ship looked a bit too much like a vagina.
It also looked a bit too much like that mining ship on the stupid Romulans and Next Generation movie. Nero's ship.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. This is the problem I'm having. You see, with Discovery and this is Enterprise. Then with Discovery and Picard, I'm enjoying them. I'm just not remembering them. Like when you just mentioned then when Raffi said about the artifact, and it's only just occurred to me as you said it then. Oh, hang on, that's a reference to Discovery, and of course, because it never twigged at the time.
It's not Discovery.
Is it not? Because that was the artifact that they got with the thing with all the knowledge that they got to jump into the was it what? What was the artifact then?
The artifact was the Borg cube from season 1 that the Romulans were in control of.
Oh, that's right. Oh God, you see what I mean? You see, just none of it.
But, well, I think you've just kind of demonstrated the main issue.
I think the issue is they have a single storyline for the whole season, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
I think because you've got so much to remember, and then no. I think they just need to go back to Monster of the Week episodes and ship in a bottle episodes. There you go. That's what you need.
Pretty much.
I do hope. Go
on. Well, I was just going to read out Paul's comment asking if I've watched or you've watched the first episode of Halo. I haven't yet, Paul. It is on the list and it will be watched at some point this week. And Foxx probably won't watch it because he needs me to send it to him to watch.
Yes, I don't have Sky, and therefore I don't have access to any... And I don't have Paramount Plus, so I don't have access to any of that nonsense, sadly. Which means I can't watch... Star Trek Prodigy, which I want to watch. I saw the first episode on YouTube, it was really good. I can't watch a lot of stuff, actually. The only thing I actually have is Disney Plus. I have Disney Plus, so I can watch the Marvel goodness and I can watch other things. And I have got Amazon Prime, so I can watch Picard, which is free at the moment on Amazon Prime. And I did watch the latest series of Discovery, which I had to pay for. I don't know why that wasn't free. That's a bit annoying.
It's because Discovery is traditionally on Netflix.
Yeah, where's Picard then? Has that always been on Amazon?
Yes.
Wow, they really were all over the place, weren't they?
So
what I need is for Disney. What I need is for Disney to buy Paramount.
And then you're golden.
Yeah, because Amazon have just bought MGM, and that'll be Stargate. So hello.
Well, yeah, there is the rumor that they've already greenlit a new Stargate series.
Yeah, that's been going around for a while though. They were all like, it was always if they buy MGM, then that. Yeah.
Well, I'm hopeful. Put it that way.
And what's his face? The guy whose name I can't remember said he'd already written some scripts and stuff and things were in the works, but that was quite a while ago. So I can't wait. I mean, I can't imagine Amazon would look at 10 seasons of SG-1, 5 seasons of Atlantis, and 2 seasons of the other one, Universe, and be like, yeah, let's not make any TV shows based on this, because that would be stupid. I've finished an Ork. Now I have just actually realised, because Colin's not here, there's no pleasing fish tank sounds in the background.
That's true.
And because Colin has the pleasing fish tank sounds, I threw away my little mirror that meant I could see when I fall out. So I don't know if I'm going to fall out or not.
Well,
if I do fall out and I haven't... Well, yeah, I was going to say, if I do fall out and I don't say anything in like about a minute and a half, then do text me. I'll know because one of us shuts up, but...
Well, the thing is, if you fall out as well, I don't get broadcast either. So
yeah, I know.
It'll just be a case of hoping that you see, and if not, if a minute or so has gone by, then I'll text you.
Yeah, because if I fall out, people can still hear me and they'll just see the sign back in screen that you get on StreamYard.
Yeah.
Right, I've got now to build the Commando Grot and the Squig, the bomb Squig.
You see, Paul. So Paul is advising that you should get an Android box with Kodi installed in it. He could do, Paul, but trying to explain that to Foxx, I'll leave that one to you.
No, I looked at that once, and then didn't Kodi suddenly become horribly illegal?
Technically.
So yeah, maybe not.
But so is me sending you a USB drive with.
No, you're just having the shows that you've purchased and own legally backed up on a storage medium.
And
then it just happened.
if that's how you believe that I'm going to obtain these shows,
Yeah.
yeah, sure.
I know you're going to send me some CD-ROMs, some floppies. You have to store them somewhere. Yeah, there you go.
So, Panzer.
Good job we're not discussing that on the internet or anything, isn't it?
Yeah, in his belly, he's got a square square sausage.
Aye, that's a, is it a squig?
It's a squiggage on rolls with hot wing sauce, and on the bench he's got a Russian spring break 2022 Ukraine tour bus. To give it its proper title, the Trumpeter BMP-3.
Ah. Yeah, did you know there's actually a company that makes squigs? It's a I think it's a Scottish company, and they make square sausages, and they call them squigs.
Oh, I need
and I think there was some sort of copyright back and forth. I don't know what's happened in the end, but I think they're still called squigs because they're square sausage.
Yeah, I definitely need to acquire some of those.
It's just a sausage, but it's square. But yeah, they are called squigs.
Hi, William.
Hi, William.
Dorkosaurus has joined us.
Hey, Dorkosaurus. Dorkosaurus.
Can we fix it?
Yes, he can.
55.
Paul Disamaster says, Cody is not illegal. Add-ons may be considered improper. I think it might be legal over here in the UK, though. Because there was I'm pretty sure, because everybody was getting Cody boxes about 5, 6, 7 years ago. And then there was suddenly people getting fined and stuff, and I have vague memories of people somebody got jailed because they were selling Cody boxes, or boxes with the Cody on it, or something like that. I can't remember now. It was something like that. We're British, everything's illegal. We don't do anything cool.
That's true.
Yeah.
Breathing is often thought of as illegal.
Breathing? How very dare you, sir? How very dare you? Have you got something noisy in the background? That's good, because then I'll know when I fall out. Have you got a fan on or something?
There is a fan on, yeah.
Oh, jolly good.
It's been on for the entire
okay.
entirety of the stream.
Okay, I've just noticed it now. That's good then, because I'll know when I fall out. I'm building the commando grot.
Commando grot.
Who has I think possibly the best head of any figure ever in Warhammer, and there's a choice of 2 heads, and there is no good reason at all to not choose this one, which I shall show.
What head is it?
I shall show you before I cut it off the sprue. Hang on. Bearing in mind, he's supposed to be like a ninja, so he's got the ninja leather gimp suit and the grappling gun, and what he's armed himself with, and what he's wearing. Let me see if I get the focus in. Hang on, where's my mouse?
Did I just see a snorkel?
What he's wearing.
Yeah.
Is a snorkel. He's being a ninja and super sneaky, so he's wearing a ninja outfit and a snorkel.
I believe you are correct. This is not an option.
Yeah, this is required, because that's the kind of thing I would have drawn when I was doing silly cartoons. You know, if you do someone in a super stealthy outfit, just give them a snorkel. Because it's just silliness. It's silly humour. I need to make sure I'm focused again.
I do love grots. They have so much character.
Yeah.
67.
This is what I'll have to go through every time I fall out the stream.
Yeah.
I'll zoom in a bit. There you go. I don't need to be quite so far zoomed out. The good thing, at least with this camera, with the new drivers and the new software, is that the picture quality is actually better, I think. And when you zoom in, it's not quite as grainy and horrible. So I'll give them that. I'll give them that. Max McGinn says he watched an Angry Joe review on the Halo TV series. To them, they said it was bad because the director didn't do research on the games. Well, I would reply on that.
A good start.
I would reply on that Angry Joe didn't do his research because in an article, Kiki Wolfkill and I've forgotten his name, the other guy, Scottish guy, both said that it takes place in a kind of parallel universe storyline, so it's not going to follow the game. And this is what I was saying the other day in Colin's stream on Friday. Everybody complains when something veers away from the original source material, unless it's a Marvel movie, which sometimes can bear very little to the original comic book material, source material. But everybody accepts that.
The only thing that is, I'm not even going to say accurate, but the only thing that it's generally consistent, is a character's name.
Yeah. But they
maybe callbacks to the comic artwork in terms of costuming.
Wait, is this Halo or Marvel?
Marvel.
Oh yeah.
Even the costumes are vastly.
Hello, Mama Foxx.
Hey, Mama Foxx.
Oh yeah, but I mean, there's lots of things in the MCU where they've veered away from the comic books and the stories, and they've changed things around a bit, and it's accepted. People go, yeah, it's a different universe, it's different, it's a different story it's based upon. Yeah, any other property, and there are people are up in arms. It's like, but at least with Halo, they've said right from the start, it's not the game story. It's staying true to the spirit of it, but it's a whole new, like, I think they called it the Silver Timeline. I think, where it's taking the premise, telling a slightly different story, just because they couldn't really get the original game story to work straight up. They could weave a different story. Maybe it's a different story that tells better on screen. But they've said that. They've, to their credit, they've been honest about that from the start. They've always said it's not going to be the same story, which is fine. I have no problem with that. It's the same way that nobody ever complains when you get a new Joker origin story that's nothing like all the previous Joker origin. Even the comics don't have a single Joker origin story. Let's be honest. Yeah, nobody complains.
I am going to go into it knowing that it's probably going to be. I'm going to go into it with a love of Halo, but an open mind in terms of story, because otherwise I think you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, there's very few adaptations to the screen of TV or movies that follow the source material slavishly. Very few, because it just doesn't work sometimes. Sometimes you have to change things around because it's a whole different medium, and I don't really mind as long as I get to see cool things and the characters I like doing cool things. Then, even if it's horrendously different, look at how the SG-1 was kind of a reboot of the Stargate movie. It changed the aliens completely. It changed the bad guys totally.
But, well, for me, actually, whilst I love the movie, I think the series, the manner in which it fleshed out the story and the characters. The one thing Stargate always did really well was fleshing out characters and getting you to like the characters.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, watching the movie now is almost uncomfortable because it's so shallow.
Yeah, exactly.
It's, and it's such drastic changes as in the movies. The bad guy is an alien. How is it different? It's I can't remember now because it's the bad guy is. It's some very literally different way. Like, it's not a goa'uld in a person possessing them. Ra is literally an alien, and when he dies, you see his face, and I don't know. It's not the same in any way. It's completely different. So the goa'uld are not a thing. But everybody accepts it. So yeah, if I know Angry Joe, and if he's shouting about it, then he clearly hasn't read any of the interviews they've said in the past where they've said it's not going to be the same. It's a totally different story. It's a reboot. It's a retelling. It's a alternative universe, and I'm fine with that. I don't have any problems with that. Go for it. Like I say, how many times have we watched a different take on the Batman origin story or the Joker origin story or whatever? Hell, Batman alone, there's like 4 or 5 different films of the origin story in the last 30 years. So.
You have nothing to apologise for, Max. Don't feel that you need to apologise, but no.
Oh, no, I'm not having a go at you, Max. No, don't get me wrong, Max. I'm not having a go at you, mate. I like the fact you brought it up. It makes me laugh like Angry Joe, who's normally quite spot on, I will be honest. No, don't apologise. You're nothing to you. Sorry, I don't...
It's entirely plausible that Angry Joe didn't see that.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. I wasn't having to go at you, Max. Please don't feel like you need to apologise. La, 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 la. We love you, Max. Don't you go anywhere. You didn't do nothing wrong.
I've got a question for you,
yes.
Max, actually.
What, for Max?
Yeah, for Max.
Okay.
So you're probably the person that I know that is most active in terms of actually actively playing 40k these days. So, Ork players.
Ork.
Do they actually have people started to feel units of boys as a mix of sluggers and shooters? Because I still cannot get my head around GW's choice
of mixing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
giving you no options.
Yeah, because if you want all shooters, you've got to buy like 2 sets of boys.
No, hey, it's worse than that, dude.
3 sets of boys.
If you want a full unit of, if you take it to the extreme, if you want a full unit of 30 boys, if you want a blob, and a lot of people will only run boys in units of 30, you'll have to buy 10 boxes.
Yeah, yeah. Oh god, yeah, that's a point. Yeah, I don't understand. I don't know what is there a new codex out for them, or is it still not come out yet?
Yeah, the codex came out in October.
Okay, does that
the rules have changed? You can now field a unit of boys with a mixture.
as melee and ranged.
Yeah, so before the codex would read, boys are equipped with either slugger
or shooter.
Yeah. But now it's either or.
But here's a question. You've got a gargantuan squigoth.
Yeah.
You put 10 boys in the back of that. You've got 5 guys with shooters because it's a firing platform. It's 30 foot up in the air. You've got 5 boys with choppers who you can't do anything with because they're 30 foot up in the air.
Well, yeah.
So if you want 10 dudes in your squigoth, and there we go, we've fallen out. Hang on, we'll come back straight away. Returning now. Stand by, please stand by. There we go.
Full units.
Yeah, so I was looking at the screen at the time. So yeah, if you want to put like 10 dudes on your Ork squigoth, gargantuan or otherwise, you've got to buy 2 packs of 10 dudes at 30 quid each. Because half of them have got weapons that are no use at 40 feet in the air.
Well, exactly. I was hoping. So
because I was debating whether to take the boys that I got with my squigoth and replace them with new ones, but it's like I'd have to spend like 50 quid.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to sell it, but.
I mean, I was hoping that with the recent release of the Sisters of Battle.
Sisters of Battle!
The initial army box that they released, there was a push fit kit for the main Sisters unit.
Yeah.
The equivalent of a unit of Space Marines or a unit of boys.
Mm-hmm.
But then when they actually released the kit separately, it was a multi-part kit with far more options, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah.
I was hoping that would be the case with the Ork boys, but it's not. And it's the first time in history that I can think of a new kit being released, like a refresh kit after 22 years being released.
Yeah.
Yet you can still buy the old boys.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. And whether it's just like they've got the stock lying around, or is it? I don't know, because that struck me as weird as well, that they've still got the old... Because you go in, it's like, if you do a search for Ork boys, you're like, hang on, which one do I want? They don't make it clear on the website which, what the differences are.
Right.
Seems a bit sus to me.
They realised that they done goofed.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess if you ask them, their argument would be, well, you've got choice. But give me that choice in the singular kit.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm wondering if they are both available because they realised that they kind of screwed the pooch a bit. Yeah. Maybe they kept them on, and then people started complaining and they thought, we better keep these on. I don't know. I can't remember if the original Ork boys actually went offline and then came back or not. That would give some credence to that.
So they never vanished.
Mm-hmm.
However, obviously, because of the way that they do combat patrols these days, whereby they release the combat patrol first alongside the codex, or even they release the equivalent of the combat patrol
Yeah.
with the limited edition cover of the codex.
Yeah.
They released that first 3 or 4 months before the first, before those kits are individually available.
Yeah.
To give you the FOMO factor, so
Well,
to
yeah.
speak. So obviously the Ork Combat Patrol and even the Christmas Battle Force that you got, they were available in like October, November, and the boys only became available separately in January. So I guess from the amount of people complaining on Facebook, Reddit, and just general social media about the new boys loadout, I guess they just decided never to remove the old boys.
Well, they might do it, yeah, because it's a lot easier to keep the old boys there than actually redesign and retool a whole new load of dudes.
Like, obviously, I hope that this October they release a multi-part kit.
Yeah.
Because the problem with the old Ork boys, if you put the hunchback of Big Assdom aside,
Gorilla arse, yeah,
is the new boys sculpt wise, they're amazing. They're gorgeous.
Oh, they are. They're brilliant.
Larger. But as Max says, like Max is just like any other Ork player. For 30+ years, Ork players have run boys as shooter boys or chopper boys. A mix just doesn't work.
I think what I'm going to have to do in my Squiggoth is... See, I've already glued the bases onto the old boys now, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that anyway. I don't know what to do with the actual Orks that come with it, because if somebody buys it and they want to play it, then they need to be able to take them out, but magnetising it's going to be a pain in the arse. I think what I might do is actually get 2 sets of modern boys, because that's like 60-70 quid, but then I can add that onto the price of the Squiggoth when I sell it, so... Right, I'm going to quickly go and make Mama Foxx a brew, because our big, like, boiler tea urn that we had, because she can't lift the kettle anymore, we got a big tea urn, that died, so we're waiting for a new one, so she can't make herself a brew at the minute, so I've got to go make her a quick brew. Do you want me to leave it on so you can talk to chat, or shall I put the back in a minute thing in, just in case I fall out?
No, just leave it on and I'll chat. If you drop out, you drop out, but I'm hoping you won't, because you've very recently fallen out. So.
Okay. Well, if it does go to the white screen, folks, apologies. I will be back in a few minutes. It's just got to make Mama Foxx a brew. But Simon will keep you
I will attempt
distracted.
To
back in a minute.
See you soon, dude. But yes, Max, it's very strange. As a Speed Freak player, I've been a Speed Freak player since the very first Armageddon Codex, which came out in 3rd edition. You know. Having a mix it's just weird to me. It, like you say, the synergy doesn't work. I think, to be fair as well, Phil, so Foxx got the Christmas Battle Force. I can't remember the name of it, but didn't that have 20 of the new boys in as well as the Combat Patrol? He doesn't have the Combat Patrol. He's got the Battle Force from Christmas. I'm just finding out the name of it. The Kildaka Warband is what I got. Yeah, so that's got 20 of the new boys in it. I'll mention that to him when he comes back, because he's probably forgotten. Yeah, exactly, Max. The old kit is, you know. I mean, I thought you can change in. So if you got a combat patrol or whatever, obviously you're going to have essentially twins. It wouldn't be difficult to change the choppers, and add some gubbins or change the magazines on the shooters just so they look a bit different. You can whack a few different shoulder pads here and there and whatnot. But again, even to do that, you're realistically going to need to have an Ork bits box or the older boys. So yeah, they need to address it and do something about it. But I don't know if they will. Like it would be great if this October they released a new Tank Busters kit, because the Tank Busters kit desperately needs upgrading. Even though tank busters are a great unit to kit bash, and release a multi-part boys kit, I think personally they know they've done goofed, but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I don't know. You're the only person I know that actively games at the moment. Obviously, so many people boycott GW these days. But you know, they do have some pretty questionable business practices going on. But that's a different conversation. Yeah, squig buggies are awesome. I mean, they've got squig in the name, Max. Come on now. It's a fun sculpt as well, but you see, I've played a lot in the past, Phil. Throughout my teenage years, but I just don't have the time now. And to be honest, I hate people, so I don't really want to go into a store and play a game. So I buy to paint and build and enjoy displaying them on a shelf. But I am still aware of the rules and the connotations of the rules. And I just don't understand some of the decisions GW have made with the specifically the Orks. It's just strange. But hey ho. I mean, I think they did a reveal on I think it was Wednesday, and that was a massive flop for me. Like, the coolest thing in it was the Horus Heresy trailer, the cinematic trailer for Horus Heresies. But yeah, everything else kind of flopped. The easiest way to learn the Warhammer tabletop rules? That is a fine question, Jeff. The easiest way, I would say, would be to pick up a combat patrol of an
I'm
army.
on my way. Hang on, I'm coming back now.
And the codex. And
hang on a minute.
A cheap rule book from eBay. And
hello, darling.
Go to your local Warhammer store, headed, or your local LGS, and just ask to be introduced to the rules.
LFGS.
The GW staff within the Warhammer stores themselves, a large part of their salary goes towards trying to introduce people to the games. So yeah. Because
if you get them interested in the games, they come back to buy more models. What, did I miss anything? Did you all miss me? I'm back now.
We were still talking about the Orks.
You can rest easy. I'm returned. Mama Fox has a brew. I have a brew. Mama Fox can stay hydrated. She's watching Midsummer Murders, because of course she is. When I went earlier on, you know, when I said I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah.
It was because I heard a thump from downstairs. I'm like, has she fallen over or something? Fallen off the sofa. She was trying to open a massive thing of dairy milk and dropped it. I'm not saying dairy milk bars are heavy, but it sounded like an old person falling over. So,
I mean, if you heard it from upstairs and you genuinely thought it had the weight of Mama Fox.
Well, it didn't have the weight of, but I thought I can't ignore it. It
sounded. The sound.
Yeah, it was like sounds like something falling over. Let's go and check it.
That must have been quite the bar.
Yeah, you better eat a dinner. I said, don't you spoil your dinner, cowbag. Oh, is that? Were you? I assume you're responding to Candygram asking about the best way to learn the rules.
Yeah.
Play the game.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the combat patrols, Jeff, they've all been designed so they all carry a certain points value, and obviously every model has a points cost, so they're meant to be very balanced. I would say pick up a combat patrol you like the look of. you like the aesthetic of the army,
Yeah.
see if you can pick up the current 9th edition codex for that army, or at least the most recent rules for that army, and the 9th edition rulebook you'll be able to pick up on eBay fairly cheap, because they produce the compact rulebooks to put into all the starter sets.
Yeah.
Pick one of those up, get it built, get it painted, take it to your Warhammer store, or before you even do that, when you visit the Warhammer store, you say, hey, I'm interested in learning how to play. Can you give me an intro game? They'll give you an intro game.
Yeah, they will
more
do
than
that.
likely let you win, because that's kind of the rules of intro games. And then they will try and upsell you everything under the sun.
Oh yeah.
So what I would say is have a look around, like the armies on the Games Workshop website. Pick one in the back of your mind and go into that store with the aim of having an intro game, which will take about 45 minutes. So build that into your journey and your trip, if you will. But go into that store with that combat patrol in mind, or you will leave with potentially a mountain of stuff that you don't need right now. Yeah.
Because combat patrols are like... It's a handy way to build up a small force quickly for advanced players, but it's also almost a good like starter set. Like a dip your toe in the water and see if you like playing the game. Because they used to have the start collectings, which were like the beginner sets.
I'm going to interrupt you because Phillies is off. So thanks for joining, Phil.
Take care, Phil.
Take care, buddy.
Now I need to interrupt you because earlier on you said you started saying a story and you said about some people at Games Workshop, and then I never let you finish it because I'd interrupted you a while ago. I think we were talking about painting or something.
Was that not the story about Gazgol's naming origins?
No. You said I know some people at Games Workshop. Now a lot of you might not know this, and then I interrupted you.
That was about Gazgol's name.
No, I'm sure it was afterwards.
I was conversing. Well, it might have been, but I can't remember.
I'm sure you were going to give us some other thing about like painting or something. But it might have been when we were talking about releases and things like that. I can't remember now.
Oh, maybe.
I'll regret that forever because you're probably about to deal some real, probably behind the scenes dish dirt there.
Potentially. Have you watched the Horror Heresy cinematic yet?
Yes, I've watched the trailer.
Now, I think that's the kind of content they need to pack Warhammer Plus with, and then I might be interested.
Yeah.
Because that cinematic was awesome.
Oh yeah, I mean the. I'll be honest. Every time they show a little animation from Warhammer Plus, it's like, wow, that's kind of crap. It's all low frame rate, quick to churn out stuff. It's like, really?
I mean, like, even if you're not really interested in Space Marines, because I know, obviously, we've had the discussion that you're not the Space Marines' biggest fan, and the Horror Heresy as a game system probably won't interest you because it is essentially Space Marines versus Space Marines.
I'm not a fan of them. It's just the Astra Militarum infantry side interests me more, I think.
Well, yeah, and they don't have as much character.
Although I do like me Space Wolves, don't get me wrong.
Well, I mean, obviously, Space Wolves are a thing.
Yeah.
In the Horror Heresy, but that cinematic was.
Oh yeah.
They need to be producing stuff on that level for Warhammer Plus, and then I will probably look into a subscription myself.
They need to put the money into it. If they're expecting people to pay, a monthly fee, and all they're getting is these really low quality animations. Because we all had the idea that things like the guy that was doing. Remember that guy that was doing the Inquisition series on YouTube?
Yeah.
That's nothing's ever come of that. Didn't they buy him or something? They employed him.
Well,
that seems to have vanished.
There is a very popular English YouTuber. He's the second biggest Warhammer streamer, And he recently discovered that GW have actually stolen his music and used it in their Warhammer because he used to, prior to being a Warhammer YouTuber, he was a music producer.
Oh, right, I didn't know this.
Music industry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and said Warhammer TV, someone, whoever is producing them, stole said YouTuber's music.
Ooh.
And has used it within Warhammer Plus without permission to do so.
That's unusual for them because they're usually really spot on with their.
Yeah, but he made a whole video about it. So I don't know.
Unless it was like a third party that Games Workshop had paid to do it, and then.
Well, possibly.
And then they didn't do their due diligence.
I am going to assume that GW is probably outsourcing some of the animation, as if like they will contract someone to do this work for them.
Oh yeah, they won't do it themselves.
They probably didn't do their due diligence.
No.
But yeah, you know, if you're going to steal someone's music, it's probably not a good idea to do it from someone that's got like 300,000 YouTube subscribers.
Yeah.
But hey ho.
Yeah, they do that sort of stuff because I remember a couple of years ago speaking to someone who shall remain unnamed, who was telling me that there was another Warhammer movie in production. I was like, oh yeah, and I said about, you know, the Ultramarines movie, which was garbage. And this is a proper live action one, a proper live action movie, and it's you know, it's in production. I was like, oh, brilliant. And then they said, yeah, it's in production in China. I went, oh, that'll be crap then.
Yeah,
and they went,
I mean,
I said they've kept it quiet. He said, yeah, they're kind of not making a thing about it because if it turns out to be garbage, they'll just quietly distance themselves from it and it'll never see the light of day. If it turns out to be good, they'll obviously make a bit, and we've never heard of it. So, yeah.
I think one of the largest problems that GW has, and this is coming from someone who's been a Warhammer fan and into the hobby for over 20 years,
and has worked for them.
Yes, on more than one occasion.
Yes.
In separate roles, is they're clearly trying to branch out into markets that I personally don't think they fully understand.
No, they don't.
My fear for Games Workshop is they are becoming cash hungry. They need to stick to being the market leader in tabletop wargaming miniatures, and they need to target Warhammer Plus towards their fans. Like, if they put the entire back catalogue of the Black Library audiobooks on Warhammer Plus, even if they charged me 20 quid a month, I would subscribe instantly.
Yeah, I mean,
that would interest me, and that would interest thousands of people.
Oh yeah, I mean, I suppose the thing is that they've got. The thing is, if you think about it logically, they're probably looking at something like Marvel, like Disney Plus, and looking at, let's say, Marvel, I reckon.
Well, obviously,
and
like,
if you think about, like, not just 40k, but, you know, all the lore, the heresy, and you've got Sigmar and everything else, there's so much source material there that you could feasibly do a Marvel on it, and you could have movies and animations and a whole pay-per-view series and that kind of thing, and it would work because there's just as much content in Warhammer lore as there is in a lot of sci-fi properties. And they want you can't blame them for wanting a bit of that. I just don't think they're doing it very well. They're doing it kind of half-assed, which
they are trying to capitalize on, for lack of a better term, the geek chic culture that has come across in the last 10 or so years. But they are doing it in a manner, they're trying to do it by themselves.
Yeah.
And I just they don't have the clout that Disney have.
No,
plain and simple.
They don't have the production chops to do it. Like I say, if you look at the animations, they're all a bit low budget, crappy. It's like what they need to do is say, look, we really need to get like some movies going on and some animations and stuff. We need to get this stuff going. But the problem they've got is they're so allergic to licensing.
Yeah.
because they want absolute control over it, which you can understand. They're not wrong for wanting that.
I also think...
But it means that what does come out is done by people that aren't experts in it.
I also think they're also somewhat forgetting, or starting to forget, where they come from.
Yeah.
They're starting to forget that at their heart, they are a wargaming miniatures company.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas nowadays, it feels more like they are trying to sell their IP.
Yeah.
Which obviously is Warhammer.
Yeah. And this is, I mean, you can't, there's nothing wrong with that inherently. You've got this massive 40 years of lore and fluff and stories that, of course, you want to try and exploit. Why not? But
yeah, I just think they're going about it the wrong way.
No, yeah, they need to accept that they're a games maker, and they need to maybe get people that are movie makers and video games make. I mean, let's not forget there are approximately 4,500 video games based on Warhammer, and with probably one exception or two, they're all crap. Mm. So they need to really, I think they need to let other people take care of some of the stuff. They need to really invest in getting some proper, for example, some proper animation teams and studios to do some proper animations. It's very nice to say, we've now employed the guy that did that awesome Inquisition trailer. There's one guy. It's going to take him years to make anything. Don't, hire XYZ animation company who are specialists in making animated serial series and CGI, and then they can churn one out 12 episodes every year, and you've got an Amazon series. There you go. Much better.
There is another inherent issue.
Yeah.
In that, until recently, within the last few years, if not less, they have now tried to start selling and monetizing something that people have been used to getting for free on YouTube.
Yeah.
And that is always going to be an uphill struggle to a point.
Yeah.
But I think it's somewhat more than that. I think, going back to Warhammer Plus, they say there's White Dwarf available, but they haven't got the White Dwarf catalogue on there. It's just a few, digitize the old White Dwarfs.
Yeah.
Because there are some White Dwarfs in there from my childhood that I would love to go back and find some of those really cool old Ork articles and stuff like that. But I don't know. I think they're trying to sell consumable content
without the content, really. Let's be honest.
Well, yeah, they're trying to sell content to someone that doesn't necessarily love Warhammer now.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're there yet.
No, but
I think part of the problem is where they saw this massive growth. Their profits in 2020 doubled to 150 million from 80 million. So there's a huge cash injection, and they're now, I think they're trying to scramble to be how can we keep this new audience interested?
Yeah. I just think they need to. I don't know. There's no simple. I mean, we all think of them as this big company. At the end of the day, they're not a small company, but they're not it's not like a Microsoft where they can just throw money around. They're not that rich. So it's not like they can just approach a major production studio and say, "Hey, please make a live-action Warhammer series, thanks." Because that's not going to happen. And if it did, they'd have to give up so much because they've not got the bargaining chips. They've not got the position. They're not that rich.
To put it into context, what do you think the Disney company's profits were in 2021?
I don't know. I know that Microsoft spent $75 billion to buy Activision.
Yeah. So
yeah. And I know that Destiny, that Bungie Studios was acquired by Sony for $3 billion. But then a third of that was costs of employing people, so they're probably worth about $1 billion. So yeah, they're not.
To put it into context, Disney had profits of 2.02 billion in 2021.
I'm going to guess that GW's is probably in the hundreds of millions, if not sub 200 million.
It was 150 million.
Yeah, which is nice. They're not a global force to be reckoned with.
No. Obviously, Disney is almost becoming a monopoly on the entertainment industry at this point.
I mean, GW could approach, you know, Amazon or even Disney maybe, or anybody. They could approach any studio and say, look, we've got this franchise, make some content and we'll let you have a bit of leeway, but they'd have to give some leeway.
See, yeah, I wonder if they've ever been approached, but they just didn't want to give over as much control as was being asked.
I'm sure I've read somewhere in the past, I don't know, but I'm sure I've read somewhere in the past that they're very protective of the IP. So, like, I think they have been approached and been like, well, no, we want complete control. Okay, we're not going to do it then.
I'm guessing you've never been contacted by GW to be sent free models.
No.
Their NDA, I would applaud you and any other content creator not to sign it.
Well, I would.
NDA is horrendous.
Yeah, from what I have seen and heard, I would actually say no.
Their NDA is.
I remember watching the video from Midwinter Minis about when he said, "I've decided to stop, to just break my contract with them."
You're okay actually mentioning other channel names because I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
it was actually Guy's music that was stolen.
Oh, was it with Midwinter Minis?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Because he used to be in the music industry, and obviously he's been affiliated with GW before. He decided to part ways from that NDA and whatnot.
Because it was his video saying why I've decided to leave GW and stop. Yeah. Because he said the NDA is just horrible. It's just like, you know, and he was saying you don't get that much out of it. You know, you don't really get that much. You get stuff a week before, and it's like, well, you can't do much with that, can you?
And well, yes. So Panzer said, correct me if I'm wrong, but White Dwarf used to be an independent publication catering to all the RPGs. Yes and no, Panzer. So White Dwarf has always been published by Games Workshop.
Was it a Citadel thing originally? When Citadel was like a splint?
Citadel thing, which is part of the umbrella of GW.
Yeah, but was different.
GW, prior to writing and producing their own IPs, such as 40k, Warhammer, Age of Sigmar, etc. Before all of that, they used to be a tabletop gaming company that also sold other IPs, etc., etc. And then, so White Dwarf used to be that independent publication for maybe 50 to 100 issues. And I believe it used to, even at that point, be bi-monthly. And then obviously it went to monthly and then weekly. And whatever it is at the moment, I haven't bought an issue of White Dwarf in a long time.
I think I've only bought one. I think
I used to get it every month.
I've done my just so you know, I've done my grot. What is he?
Ninja Boy.
He's a grot. Hang on. It's just a commando grot. I've not glued his arm on because I want to be able to paint his chest, and I think I should be able to glue it on reasonably easily without too much fuss, because it just click into place. So I shall hold him up. People can see. You carry on. I've got to struggle with this for a minute to actually hold it up.
I'm watching what you're doing.
I'm trying to. It's easy to put into place, but it's hard to keep in place, and I can't be bothered doing blue tack.
Trying to hold it together for camera is different to actually gluing it at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, I'll zoom in a bit and people can see. Hang on. Let me see. I can put his arm on easily from this side. It just clicks into place, but then holding it in place is the tricky bit.
It's such a cool little dude.
He's got his little. I'll put it into focus for you. Hang on. All the sliders. He's got his little scuba mask and his grapple gun and his backpack. There you go. How adorable!
I do love the commandos.
I like the fact his grenade. I love the fact he's got flippers on the back as well. Oh, again, maybe that's why he's wearing this. Oh, that ruins it. Do you know why that ruins it?
Why does that ruin it? Because
that means he's like the kind of commando that does the underwater bit and then gets up the beach and.
Oh, so you're saying it ruins it because now the snorkel makes more sense
Yeah.
than it just being random and orky.
If it was just random snorkel for no reason whatsoever, it would be much more funny. But
Yeah,
now he's got fins. It's like, oh, he's actually the kind of one that goes under the boats and sets the charges. Oh, that's not as fun then. It's ruined it now. I'm not happy anymore. I'm so sad now. Sadness.
Yeah, you see, that's the thing. Panzer, it used to, like Games Workshop. When Games Workshop started, it was just like a board game and tabletop shop. That's what it was.
Yeah,
And
they used to sell Dungeons and Dragons and all sorts.
Yeah, and it was only after a number of years that they started looking into their own IPs, and Ian Livingstone started to write.
Who went to my school apparently?
Warhammer. Yeah.
Oh, one of them did.
So,
Yeah, because it was like they sold stuff like they came to an arrangement with Gary Gygax to distribute D&D in the UK or something like that. I think. I don't really know about D&D, so I'm hoping I'm name dropping correctly there. And then after a while, they did Rogue Trader because they thought we could get into this. We could stop making our own. Because Citadel made the miniatures of stuff, and they thought, why don't we do our own shenanigans?
yeah.
Something like that.
Right, I'm gonna have to love you and leave you, dude.
Are you off, buddy?
I need to go and make roast dinner.
Okay.
But yeah.
What we on? We're on coming up to 6 o'clock, so we'll go for another hour, maybe something like that.
But yeah.
What I might do
guys.
is I might. All right. Well, take care, Simon. Thank you for coming in.
Bye.
If people want to see more of you or get more to know you, what can they do? Can they see you on a website or an email or a YouTube or
Like and subscribe.
like and subscribe? You got any content on YouTube?
Do, no, I haven't got any content on YouTube.
Coward.
But, you can become a member or a patron on Fox's channel and then talk to me in the 24/7 chat or hangout.
Yes, and he's allowed to use swears in there as well. So
Yes,
swears. What kind of? You never said what roast dinner. You need to go into all the ingredients after telling everyone at the start.
I have a top rump of beef.
Rump. You like a nice bit of rump, don't you?
Well, I am an ass man. I'm gonna put a crust of garlic powder and pepper on it, like so much pepper that it's just peppery goodness.
Okay, I think you've lost me on that now, but never mind.
Roast off some Maris-fried potatoes, roast off some carrots.
Ooh.
Serve it with some tender stem broccoli.
Stream's going to finish in 2 minutes. I'm hungry.
And then I'm going to serve it with like an onion gravy, because beef and onion.
Oh.
So yeah.
So what you're saying is cow button spuds. Nice.
Yeah.
Enjoy your dinner.
Have a good week, and I'll see you on Friday.
Okay, take care, buddy.
Bye.
Bye. Now,
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. What I shall do, ladles and jelly spoons, is because we're in StreamYard when we do a co-op stream, I shall come out of StreamYard and go back into my normal streaming setup so I don't fall out. So I'm going to put on the back in a minute screen. Give me a minute, and I'll switch over to the better quality normal stream. So I shall be back in a moment. Hang fire. One second, folks. Hold on. Things are happening. Things are happening. Or maybe not. Oh. I've broken everything now, haven't I? Stand by. Stand by. It's not that. It's not that. Oh, I need to close that. 1 second. Oh, it's all gone wrong. Oh, I've forgotten how to do it. There we go. There we go. Lovely jubbly. Hello and welcome back. I hope you can please do let me know you can hear me and see me okay. Should be okay. I'm just going to adjust some brightness and things. It's looking a little dark and out of focus there. Let's just... There it is, a bit better. A little dark, so let's just adjust that a little bit. We're a bit dark. We're a bit dark, aren't we? That's a bit weird. Let me me just put the gain up a little bit. Then there we go. It's going to be a bit over bright, but never mind. Don't look at the instructions. Hopefully you can see and hear me okay. I'm just going to quickly make another change. 1 second. La 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 la. Projector, and put that there so I can see. It's a little bit out of focus. Ooh dear. Looks very different, doesn't it? The joys of video production and such. Let's unzoom. Get some focus going on. Where behold me thing, there we go. It's a bit better. Colour's a bit off, but I think we'll survive. That'll do. There we go. It's good enough. So yes, can you all see me and hear me okay? Are we all good now? I'll just close that down. There we go. We should now be ready to a roll. So please let me know. Can you all see me and hear me okay? Somebody in chat, please tell me. I hope you can. Do in chat if you can. Let me know. Any minute now. Any minute now. Just let me know. Let me know. Do. Okay, I'll just put a thing in chat. Oh, let's pretend we can all see or hear him. Oh, all good. Oh, lovely. Right, brilliant. Thank you very much. Joel, welcome, by the way, Joel. So, yes, thank you to Simon for joining me. He has to go off and make his dinner. So we've got another hour to go, so we'll carry on. Where are we up to? Like I said, if you're wondering where Colin is, if you weren't here at the start, Colin's just having a well-earned, well-deserved day off today. Like Simon said earlier on, after his surgery earlier in the year. He's been working his butt off at the bench, doing loads and loads of filming and all kinds of stuff. That's a bit dark. I'll just brighten that a bit. So he has been working really hard, so it's about time he had a bit of a break, so we'll let him have a break. Right, where are we? Trying to get things not quite so dark and grim. I know we want grim dark, but not that dark and that grim. That'll do. There we go. You can see things. So, where are we up to? So I've made the grot commando. He's been done. So all I've got left to make now is the squig. Bomb squig. Now I will do my best to keep track of chat. Of course I'm building and trying to do chat at the same time. I've got the chat in front of me there, so make sure to do @ModelMakingGuru so I have a chance of seeing your comment, or do a super chat, press the little dollar symbol at the bottom of the chat window, and that way I make sure I can see your chat. I don't miss it. Right. Let's make a bomb squig. Yes, there's no point me staying in StreamYard when it's just me. What's that? Yes, no point me staying in StreamYard when it's just me, because it's better quality here. Although I don't like this darkness. Something's not quite right here. Hang on, let's have a look. That is right. I'm just checking things. Just checking things. Bear with me. Exposure. Oh, I know why. That's better. There we are. I didn't change that, did I? Boom. I'll drop that down a bit. Oh, quite a lot, as it would seem. There we go. Gain. Drop the gain down. There we go. That's better. There we go. Back in the room. Still a bit overexposed over here, but turn that light off. There we go. See, these are the things you have to fiddle with when you're doing the telly box stuff. Oh, super chat, $5. There we go. $5 from Edward Leonard. Hi everybody. Gotcha, Foxx. Hey Edward. Squishy time. Squishy. Thank you very much, Edward. That's very kind of you. Rabbit says, just a quick drop in for me today. Hope everyone has a great day. Thank you for coming in, Rabbit. Big hugs to you. Thank you for popping in. In the grim dog universe of Fox's workbench. Yes, it's the new drivers for the new camera. It's in the old days, the camera settings would stay the same when I moved in and out of things. Now I have to fart around. Farting around. So, yes. Anyway, I hope you're all well. I've got to try and identify some squig bits now. Hope everyone is well. So, yes, Colin's having a well-deserved day off today, which we don't begrudge him at all. 126 and 125. The squig's got more bits than the grot. Rabbit says, ooh, if I can show it. Go on, I'll press the button. See, now chat's being weird. Come on now. I'll refresh that then, shall I? Or is my internet fallen over now? That would be even brilliant, even more brilliant if my internet's also fallen over. That would be hilarious. It wouldn't be hilarious. Oh, look. Has my internet fallen over now? Let's have a look and see. Let's have a look and see. I had to change things, didn't I? There we go. Are we still working? Yes, we'll work. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Yes, Rabbit says, my first time adjusting the camera for web stream. Like and subscribe. Edward says, been looking and cleaning. Hi, Jeff. Got to get back to hugs, everybody. Take care, Edward. Big hugs. Thank you for coming in. Breaking with your cleaning. He was doing the cleany bits, and then he stopped doing the cleany bits. We like Edward. So this squid got more bits than the grot. So I've got, which bits do I need? I need 126 and 125. The thing is, right, I'm so used to doing 2-man or 3-man streams now with Si and Colin. Doing it by myself, it's kind of weird. I don't really know. For 2 odd years, I was quite happy to do a stream by myself because I could quite happily fill 3 hours of waffle. Now I'm like, I don't know how to fill 3 hours of waffle when it's just me. I've got out of practice. Oh, it's the one and only downside of doing multi-person streams is when you have to do it by yourself, you're a bit knackered. So apologies if I go a bit quiet every now and then. What do I need? 126 and 125. Come on, it's the squig's butt. I can't miss it. There it is. 125. It's not hard to find, Foxx. I hope you're all well. I know we did bench and belly earlier on, but I'm pretty sure Si never got round to reading the rest of them out. So if you did answer earlier on and we didn't read it out, do your bench and belly again. It gives me something to talk about. Bench and belly. What's on your bench? And what? I'll say that again. What's on your bench? And what's in your belly? 132. I need that. That's dynamite sticks. Dynamite sticks. It's a bomb squig. It's a squig covered in bombs, bomb strapped to it, and it's got dynamite in its gob. Or bomb in its gob. It's basically an exploding squig. You can't get away from it. 127 is a leg. A foot. There we go. I will do my best to read the chat. 129. I know I need 128 because that's its face. So I can't really mistake that for anything else. And when I've got this squig done, this will be the end of the commando set done then, and I can go back to the battle thing set. 129, I don't know what 129 is to look at. Let me see if I can find it. It looks like, I'm not sure what it looks like. 29. Oh, there it is. It's a, I'm not sure what it is. Oh, it's his lower jaw with a grenade in his gob. Grenade gob. 129. 130 we've done. 131 is the other part I need, which is that one. So that's all the bits done. Got all the bits ready. So yeah, do your bench and belly again if you didn't get it read out first time, and I'll go through them and read them. Belly pie and mash, says Bill Cropper. Oh, bench gasgull. Oh. Waffle about the meaning of title of today's episode, says Candygram. Candygram understands what today's episode title is all about. Does anybody else in chat? Well, there's no point me asking that because you're going to Google it, aren't you? Oh, yes, I've started this habit of putting interesting little titles on the stream that are nothing to do with anything. They're just cool things from the back of my memory. There'll often be things about mysteries or conspiracies or fun things or science things. Who knows? Like one the week before last was What is the Frequency, Kenneth? Which, of course, was a reference to a man whose name I've forgotten who attacked CBS News anchor Dan Rather in the 1970s. This is CBS. He attacked Dan Rather, shouting, "What's the frequency, Kenneth? Kenneth, what is the frequency?" Because he was a loony. and that became a thread. Dan Rather never knew what it was about. The guy later went on to murder someone at CBS who was a cameraman, because he thought basically somebody at CBS was using their equipment to send microwaves into his brain or something like that. That's why I was asking for the frequency so he could turn it off. Anyway, so that became a bit of a legend thing, phrase, and you'll have seen it on various songs here and there. So that's why I put "What is the frequency, Kenneth?" Now I can't remember what I put last week. I can't remember what last week's title was, so I can't help you on that one. This week's title is John Titor's Minivan. And this was John Titor. It was obviously a hoax, but it was a fascinating thing that happened in the early 2000s, late 1990s, early 2000s, in the early days of the interwebs. Settle in, children, we're in for a story. We're probably not. We're in for a story, but in the early days of the interwebs and bulletin boards and BBS boards and stuff like that, there was a forum. I can't remember which one it was, but there was a forum, probably about time travel or something. I guess it was specifically about that. But these posts appeared from this chap calling himself Time Traveller Zero. I'm going to take my watch off because it's hurting my wrist. This person called Time Traveller Zero, and later as John Titor, who claimed that he had travelled back from 2036, I think it was, from the future to secure in the 1970s a couple of old computers. I think I can't remember what they were. Now, I can't remember the specific details here. It's all vaguely foggy, but he'd come back in time to acquire some computers from the early 70s because they had a certain code or processor or something that they needed in 2036 to solve a computer problem that couldn't be solved by any other way. It kind of made a bit of sense, and there was something known about. There is a thing called I think it's the 2036 problem. It might be 2036 problem that because of the way computers work on dates, by assigning digits to basically the way a computer knows the time is it works out how many seconds have elapsed since the 1st of January 1970. And that's how it works out a date on a computer. And a bit like the Y2K problem, the 2036 problem is that by the time it gets to the 1st of January 2036, it'll have run out of seconds. Computers are only built, this is about 10 years ago, to allow for that many digits, so that many seconds. And when it gets when it gets full, it can't calculate the next second, so it can't calculate the date. Computers stop working. A bit like Y2K. And he had to go back in time, and I think this is what it was. He had to go back in time to get a computer that was that didn't have that limitation, and then they could use that. There was some convoluted nonsense story anyway, that he travelled back in time to get some early 70s computer tech and take it back to 2036. But that wasn't the main crux of the story. The story was the reality that he portrayed in whenever it was he came from. Which all conveniently had a get out clause of multiverses, but yes, it's the Unix 2038 rollover problem, says Candagram. That's it. Not 2036. So he claimed that, like, in the mid 2000s, this was just around about the time in the early 2000s when George Bush was elected president, and there was the problem of the hanging chads, and there was his legitimacy as president was called into question for a little bit back in the day. And he was saying that in his timeline, in the mid 2000s, there was a civil war in America, there was other wars. America had gone back to, in the sort of 2020s, America had gone back to an agrarian society, more or less, with basically splintered into like 2 or 3 different factions across the whole of the continental US, and so on and so on. And he was part of a military unit from one of these factions. I don't remember all the details because it's been a long time, but he was part of one of these military factions from this period, who was tasked with coming back to get this old tech so that they could fix their computer systems and protect people from, you know, planes falling out of the sky and stuff, or whatever it was they were using computers for. But it was a much different society where it was less based on capitalism and money, and all other things happened. And he was saying, this is what's going to happen in 2005. This will happen. There'll be a civil war. Blah blah blah. And of course, none of this ever happened. And his get out clause was that it's the way his time machine worked. This is how it worked. It was in the back of a van, a minivan for a while, and then it was in the back of a car. It was a dual singularity time displacement something or other something. And it was quite good in that it sounded really plausible. The way he talked about it, it was all physics terms, and it sounded really plausible. And he even provided not only photographs of it, very blurry photographs, but photographs of the device, but also what appeared to be pictures of the military-style user's handbook, which obviously they've gone to a lot of effort to draw diagrams and stuff. I can't really go into all the details because you're best just looking it up and reading about it. It's fascinating. And he provided all these images, and he actually explained how the machine works. And basically what happens is that when you activate the device, if you're in a vehicle of some sort, you'd be in a vehicle, it creates a bubble of space-time, and the way you're transported using this dual singularity something or other, whatever, it takes you in a small bit of the ground that your car's sitting on and puts you back in the right position in space and time to be in that time. But it's a bit vague. It's not 100% accurate. And there's some little get-out clause that means it may not be exactly the same reality, and it'll be slightly different, so you can never quite say exactly what's going to happen because there's lots of get-out clauses. But it was a fascinating thing to read. Now, sadly, nowadays, if you try and read up on it, all you've really got is like Wikipedia and some YouTube videos here and there, and that's kind of it. There was also lots of other stories about it got a bit more complex because he went to the 70s to get this Unix processor set up. Excuse me, a bit wheezy today. And then he came back to the 1990s, 2000s to visit with descendants, with his family, his descendants. And then he went off back to the future, as he, pardon the expression. But what set it aside from the usual time-travelling nonsense that you get is that it was massively thought out. A lot of it kind of made some sort of sense, and that he actually provided technical information on how the machine worked. And again, there have been various physicists who've said, well, it kind of makes sense. And some of what he's made is obviously made up nonsense, and there's like some unobtainium in there, and there's a bit of magic hand-wavium, but the bare bones of his principle is like, kind of would make sense. Kind of. So it's and they went to all the effort of recreating like military handbook documents and all this effort. And then he left. He went back to his own correct time or thereabouts, and was never heard from again. And it went on for about a year, this. And the thing that set it apart was the depth they went to create this believable story. And it was before the days of, you know, people going onto Reddit groups and making like creepypasta and stuff like that, and all these like stories and things. It was very, very like well thought out and incredible detail. And he would literally spend hours and hours on forums answering questions from people. He's not like someone that just posts up a comment and then went away and said, here's my predictions and here's what the future is like. And he actually interacted with the community. He would answer questions. People would ask him questions about the future, about his technology, about, you know, what he's doing now. And it went this extra mile, basically. And then it all went away. But the sad thing is now, the reason it captured me was I found out about this when you could still go and see either the original BBS entries or the original forums, or there were people who had archives of all the forum conversations. And there was all this controversy then about it. Got to the point where there were people who were sort of acting as his agents and stuff and representatives, and people trying to investigate it at the time. And then it ended up with people doing investigations now, finding a guy called Larry Harbour, who is an attorney, and they don't know if it's him that was doing the hoax or if it was him and his brother or something else. This guy Larry Harbour's an attorney, claims to be an attorney for the Titor family and for him as well. It's all really complicated. I can't really do it justice, but back in the day, I spent a good 7 or 8 hours just trawling through forums and posts and write-ups and stuff about this story, and it was fascinating. Because it wasn't just some chud going on above Top Secret and saying, here are my predictions for 2038 because I'm a time traveller from the future, and here is a picture of a pencil that proves I'm from the future, or some, not that normal conspiracy nut nonsense. It was well thought out. It was a proper, in the days before ARGs, it was a proper thought out storyline with believable premise, and a lot of effort went into he literally showed a photograph of this time machine device which looked like a dirty great big machine made out of things. It was great, and it matched all the artwork in the military how to use guide. So it was the depth they went to that made it so good. What's this? Sorry, my friend texting me. It was the depth he went to for the story. The fact that he stayed around and answered questions for a long, long time, for many months, about a couple of years, I think. And the fact it was a fascinating thing to just waste away a Saturday afternoon one day reading all about this. Nowadays, I think you're limited to a few things here and there and a few YouTube videos. It's not quite as fascinating a story. It's clearly a hoax. It's not real. But it was like, could be real? No, it's not, obviously. It just went the extra mile and stood itself away and ahead from the crowd of all the time travel nuts and conspiracy theories at the time. So it's well worth a read up if you can find out about it. John Titor, Titor, as in the title. Time Traveller Zero. It was great. Because in those days, I used to spend time, like, you go on a forum and find these little weird, mysterious things you could read up about and follow trails of forum posts and stuff just for fun. Can't really do that anymore now, though. It's not something that exists. The story sounds like someone forgot to take his meds. No, it was very well orchestrated. I do have a photograph of, or a picture of, but I can't really share it in here. But I do have I downloaded the schematic diagram of the time machine that he had in his minivan, and then later on in a car. It was so much effort. It's not like I said, it's not like some loony just trawling out random words on the internet. They went to a lot of effort to make this device and to put it in a car and to, make the hardware manual. It was very well done. It was very well done. Bill Cropper says the story inspired the quantum realm in Minivan in Ant-Man, and then he says, Infinity War's Endgame. Yeah, I think it did. Yes, you're right. The minivan with the time machine in the back. The reason he was never heard of again was he obviously returned to the secure unit he was on day release from, says Panzercat. No, it wasn't a nut job, because a nut job wouldn't go to all that effort. Trust me, if you look into it and look at like the technical diagrams from the manual, the fake manual, they're very well done. They're very, very well done. I think it was probably just Bill Harbour and his brother having a laugh and doing it for fun. They never made any money off it, although there was a book released. The Bill Harbour is an entertainment lawyer, apparently, so maybe their original plan was to do all this and then get books and films out of it, or TV series and stuff. But this was in the late 90s, early 2000s. It was, early days of that kind of stuff. It never went anywhere, obviously. So you have to give him kudos for it. It was very well done. It wasn't just your usual dribbling moron on Reddit or above Top Secret. It was very cleverly done, very professionally done. There's even a photograph, apparently, he said, of him firing a laser pointer out of the window of the car to show the gravity displacement drive working, and the laser pointer beam goes out the window and bends down. And obviously it's just a fibre optic cable that's hanging. It's not that hard to figure out, but it's little things like that. I think it was gravity displacement and twin singularities using a Einstein-Rosenberg gate. It was very well thought out, put it that way. I just looked up the manual and the documentation, trolling level. Absolutely, you can actually download most of the original manual. I will put it in the boom hut later. I think I've got it somewhere. It really was, and it looks like a 1980s user manual with a military twist to it. It really does. This is what I mean about it's not just some cook. It really was a lot of work they put. It was almost like an art project. That's why Candogram's saying troll level Japan. It really was. They spent a lot of time setting all this up, and the fact that he happily answered questions. People asking him about his life and, you know, what it was like at his time and what the world was like and all this kind of stuff. It was so well done. Panzer Cat says there's one born every minute. Yeah, but yeah, I've got to tell you though, it really was. It's beyond just an internet nut. It was a proper. Like 5 or 6 years later, you had ARGs like the Halo I Love Bees and things like that, which were internet based. It was on that level, kind of, but with, you know, it was a very good thing they did. It was awesome. Go and look it up. Right, we've got all the bits for Squig, Bomb Squig. So that's the reason for this week's title. I just come up with a random one. Don't know what next week's will be. It might be something really easy next week, I don't know. It could be anything. Excuse me. Right, so it's 6:30. We'll get this squigulon done. Little tiny base for him. Don't need the mat. Little tiny base for our tiny squig. And then we'll call this set done and we'll call this a show, I think. So what do we need to do? We need to get... the bit with the butt, he's got an aerial on his... He's got a little remote detonator thing on his butt. With the other half of the body, which will go like that. This may end up with a mould line or something in the middle, but we'll sort that out later. Can I zoom in for this while I knock the camera? That'd be good, wouldn't it? Let's zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. Is that as far as I can zoom in? Great, thanks. Sometimes you can zoom in a lot, sometimes you can't zoom in very far at all. This will now obviously be tonight's mealtime entertainment. Yeah, you could lose it. Like I say, back in the day, I lost like an entire day. I started reading it in the morning, and by the time I finished reading all the stuff about it, it was like dark outside. I lost a whole day just following forums and following forum threads and all that kind of stuff. That was back in the day when I used to like visit the Above Top Secret forums. But that was back in the day when Above Top Secret wasn't garbage, right-wing political nonsense, and was actually about, you know, interesting conspiracy theories, and was actually full of intelligent people who actually had good conversations. Nowadays it's just right-wing crap and mindless drivel. I used to go to that website all the time, not anymore. I was never a believer in conspiracy theories, don't get me wrong. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I am, to my core, a scientific skeptic. I believe in the power of the scientific method. I believe in the power of critical thinking. I believe in the power of evidence and facts. But I do find conspiracy theory stuff fascinating. Not because I believe any of it. It's just fascinating to read. It's just like stories. It's great fun to read. Just if you approach it as complete nonsense, it's great fun to read. So I find it fascinating. So I used to go on Above Top Secret and read up about all the conspiracy theories of the day. And there was a great thread on there once where it was Yellowstone was having a bit of a wibble with thousands of little mini quakes. There was like a 5,000 page long thread tracking all the quakes at Yellowstone for obvious reasons. I think that's still probably the longest thread in ATS history. But I wouldn't recommend going there now. It's turned into a right-wing troll pit. It's a horrible place now. There's nothing of any value on that website to read. It's just garbage. It used to be the majority of the site was conspiracy theories and mysteries, and a little bit was politics, but now it's all just politics, which I don't care about, so not right-wing politics anyway. So yes, it's not worth going there now. I wouldn't recommend it. Right, get this head on this squig, which doesn't fit brilliantly, but the gap round his neck is supposed to kind of be the straps holding the bombs and explosives on, so we can kind of get away with a little bit of a gap, I think, because it's meant to be. Well, can we? I don't know. Maybe I'm pushing it a bit too far there, I think. You can kind of excuse it as the gap between the skin and the collar. Or the straps, maybe? I don't know. I'm sure it'll be fine once he's painted. Where are we now? Let's have a look. The SCP Foundation is still around. Lots of good rabbit hole reading there, says Canada. Yeah, the SCP Foundation is great. That's just creepypasta, though. It's more just like made-up stories that are fun to read. Although, have you seen they've had to change their mascot, the Peanut? Because it turned out to be copyright art, and they decided they didn't want to use it anywhere. It's like the Kennedy assassination conspiracy. Oh, that's like old school stuff. That's one of the oldest one, that one. With loads. But it used to be that Above Top Secret was like, it was the home of discussing things like conspiracies and stuff, but it encouraged you to apply a skeptical bent to your inquiries, to always question everything and never assume anything. That's gone out the window nowadays. It really has. It's just garbage. I would never recommend anyone go there now. Oops. There used to be some quite thoughtful and intelligent people on that forum back in the day. Not anymore. So yeah, when I read about like conspiracy theories now or mysteries and that kind of thing, like, you know, Skinwalker Ranch or UFOs or anything like that, I obviously approach it knowing it's complete garbage, but it's interesting garbage because it's just it's like modern day folklore, and it's interesting to read it in that context of it being modern day folklore. I think that's the best way to. Where does this thing go now? What is this? Oh, I see. That's the best way to approach it. It's just interesting modern day folklore, which is always worth studying. Where does this go? This goes. I'm just trying to get this fit now without actually studying where it goes. La 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 la. There we go. He's got a gob full of explosives. It's so adorable. So I don't believe any of these conspiracy theories at all. Like I say, I take the scientific, skeptical, critical thinking approach. Which is why I love listening to the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe podcast, because it's just up my street. Got the jaw. Got some extra explodings. No, got that one. Where's this one? This goes on there like... How? This goes on there like... How does this go on? I could look at the box art and that would tell me all the things I needed to know, of course, but... Or I could just not bother. And just guess, which is kind of frustrating in a lot of ways. Oh, that's really tenuous grip there. I'll have to super glue that, I think. I think that will need to be a super glue. Oh, I don't know, actually. I could... Let's try the stinky glue. I read about that. The photo of the creepy statue is copyrighted. Who knew? It's been up forever. Basically, what with the SCP Foundation, they had one of their first entries was this sculpture called, I can't remember what it was called now. It was like a sculpture by a Japanese artist, And the SCP Foundation, they take a picture or a concept and they write a bit of creepypasta as if it's like a... as if it's in... The SCP is like a place that's supposed to like secure, control and protect. So it takes weird phenomena and shuts them away from the people so no one can be harmed by them. And this first thing they ever did was this photograph of this statue, which looks creepy AF. It is the scariest thing in the world. But they found out it was a piece of art by a Japanese artist, and it was obviously subject to copyright. But they had an agreement with the artist to use it. He said, I don't mind you using it as long as you're not making money off it. If you want to keep using it, that's fine. Just please don't ever sell it. And they were like, yeah, that's cool, no problem, we'll do that. But after like about 10 years, they had a change of heart and a bit of conscience. They're like, you know what? I don't think it's right that we're using this guy's... That's not even right on there. It's not right that we're using this guy's art, even though he said we can, so we're going to take it off. Which is good. As an artist and a former musician, I strongly support that course of action. I'm using the Tamiya fast setting glue here in the hope that it will, well, set fast. Let's just be honest. Because you've got these dynamite sticks sticking out, but they're attached by a tiny little sprig there, which I could have superglued it, but I couldn't be bothered getting the superglue out, let's be frank. So the fast setting glue, this is the kind of little joint that will be the first thing to snap when you put it in the travel case. But it looks good. Look at that. You probably can't even see that. La 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 la. So did ancient aliens exist then? Asks Paul Di Tommaso. Well, in terms of the kind of crap you see on that bloke with the pointy hair talking about, no. Aliens didn't build the pyramids. Human beings are more than capable of building a pyramid, thank you very much. In terms of it, do I think aliens exist? Absolutely. There's life out there in the universe. It'd be stupid to think otherwise. You know, there's 400 billion stars in our galaxy, and our galaxy is one of 100 billion or more. Chances of being other planets around other stars? Well, we know there are because we found them. There's probably billions of planets out there. How many of those are Earth-like? Don't know. May not have to be Earth-like to host life. There's probably lots of life out there in the universe. Whether it's intelligent life, well, we don't know. It may be that life is exceptionally rare. Intelligent life is rare because it's very hard to get to that point. That thing's coming off already, look. I may have to reinforce that with something. Maybe that intelligent life like ours is quite rare because it's expensive to get to where we are in terms of evolution. Who knows? Ancient aliens? The fact that there might be intelligent alien life out there is a non-zero chance. And I'm sure some of it's been around for longer than we have, so there would be ancient aliens. But no, coming and building the pyramid? No. No. It was secure, contain and protects creepypasta entry SCP-173, called Peanut, they called it. But I do recommend going and looking at John Titor, Time Traveller's Era. It's a fascinating, in-depth hoax that is so detailed, it's almost insane the amount of detail they went to. Where does this go? This goes on that side. I'm going to put that on the base first, I think. So I love stuff like that. So yeah, I love me some good conspiracy theory goodness, but not because I believe it. Oops. But because it's fun, and some of it's ridiculous and silly nonsense. Some of it's just downright fun. Right, so he's glued on. I'll give him a second, then I'll put that last piece on, and then I think we can call it a show then. It's nearly dinner time. Ooh, Mama Foxx is having a toad in the hole. Don't know what I'm having. I could be lazy and do a lasagna in the oven. Take the lid off lasagna. Or I could order something, I don't know. I don't know. Might order a curry. Ooh, curry. Curry would be nice. Now, this little grot that I did, I've not glued his arm on because I want to be able to paint his... Not that you can see much of his chest, but I want to be able to paint it, so I can attach his arm quite easily, I think, later on. Bit of the fast-setting glue. Takeaway, says Bill Cropper. Yeah. Thing is, if I order a takeaway, it would have to be something that Mama Fox doesn't like, because if I give her a toad in the hole and then I order myself a Chinese, she'll be unhappy that she could have had a curry rice and chips, so I might have to get like a curry or something, which is not a problem. Bill says, wins at takeaway, wins every time. Absolutely. I'm betting he has KFC. No. Again, if I gave Mama Fox a microwave dinner and then had KFC, I'd never hear the end of it. But also, our KFC is just not reliable enough. They really aren't. It's staffed by moronic teenagers who can't understand a simple order and never get the order right. So, yeah. No. Sadly, KFC is not really... Especially when it's me and Mama Fox. This is the thing. Especially if it's me and Mama Fox. Because if I order something from Mama Fox, she has a very specific what she wants from KFC. If I order out and she doesn't get it, that's not fair to her. Because she looks forward to whatever she's ordered. And if I can't guarantee that she's going to get what... Because whenever I do it, it's often that I'll order her stuff and my stuff. I'll get what I've ordered, but her stuff will just like, oh no, you haven't got mash or anything else. You've just got chips. She'll be like, ugh. So, yeah. Can't find the chicken, says Bill. This is what gets me. I said to them once, is there any way you can do me just a bucket of chicken legs? Just drumsticks, because I love your drumsticks. And he went, we probably haven't got enough. I'm like, how can you not have enough drumsticks? You're a chicken place. You're dealing chicken. Chicken's all you do is chicken. Every chicken has 2 of them. You should have a crate full of them at the back. Give me all the drumsticks in the world now. Fox, it's Mother's Day. Treat Mama Fox to Chinese, says Panzer. I could do, but I've got to keep her on I was going to say a low salt. I've got to be careful what she eats. I can't give her too much salty crap constantly because, when she has Chinese curry rice and chips, it's very salty. It's very salty. Got to be careful with her. But it is Mother's Day. You are right. It is Mama Fox's day. Difficult choices. Difficult choices. But the other thing is, if I get Chinese, it's also unhealthy for me. It's more crap at me. I don't know. It's also difficult, especially on a reasonably healthy food diet, and I'm just failing miserably. Every time I eat, it's not healthy at all. Right, let's get this little stick of the dynamites on here. This needs to tie into something. Where does it go? It goes there. Somehow. I see. Oh, jolly good. Oh, jolly good. That sits on there. How does that... Oh, I see. Oh, I've got it. I understand now. Oh, that's cool. I love the fact, even with this... I'll zoom in a minute and show you. Even with this bomb squig, they've gone to the effort. It's just a squig with bombs on it. But they've made the effort to make all the stuff it's stuck on it have a logic to it. It's not just random, like me and you, we might stick greebles on something and just randomly stick them. No. They've actually applied a logic to this, and I appreciate that. Okay, I'll see if I can zoom in and show you. Where are we? Oh, I'm already zoomed in maximum. It's not letting me zoom in very far for some reason. Okay, so let me come close and I'll go focus for you. Where's my focus? So, you have a bomb squig. I need a pointy device. He's got on his side a rack of dynamite, and he's also got like a landmine underneath, but there's also a little detonator on his back, that thing with the aerial, and there's a cable that goes from the detonator past the TNT and into the landmine. I love that. I love that so much. You see the detonator on the back there and the cable that goes down to the landmine. He's got a load of explosives in his gob. And he's got more TNT on the side. That is so adorable. And he's legging it. Little stubby legs. Kicking up a little bit of dirt with his other leg. He's like running furiously towards the enemy, or, well, I say the enemy, he could be running towards anybody. He could be running towards the guy that released him because they're not that predictable. The downside of bomb squigs, you see, you strap a bomb to them, send them off on the way, they're just as likely to come back and blow you up as they are the enemy. They just run towards anything. So there we go, that's my little bomb squig. And that actually completes, putting back in focus, that actually completes... Are we in focus? I don't know, dear. Are we in focus, dear? I don't know, dear. Good enough. That actually completes the Ork Commando set. A few of them I've got the arms taped to the bases, so I can paint them separately and attach them later. Not all of them are able to do that, but for most of them, thankfully, you've got to be careful. You've got to make sure you can attach the arm later without making a mess with glue, otherwise you ruin your paint job. So only where I know I can easily put an arm on and get it to line up, I'll do that. So that concludes all these Ork Commandos, which is a brilliant little set. So awesome, fantastic. I enjoy building those very slowly. So next time I come back, I will be working on the Kildaka Warband set again. I've still got stuff to build in there. I think I built all the boys. I've got the boss to build, the boss on the war trike. I've got the big stompy thing to build, and I think some other bits and bobs. I've got 10 more boys to build. I can't remember. So I've got loads of that. I've still got to build the Dakka jet as well. So I've got loads to do on that warband. So it's going to be Orks all the way for weeks. Candygram says, "Bomb squig. It's a squig with bombs." And then he puts in brackets. You just read that in Colin's voice. Absolutely, absolutely. Boiled rice and chicken and mushrooms is the healthiest option. Yeah, Mum wouldn't want boiled rice and chicken and mushrooms. And even from a local Chinese takeaway, it'd still be covered in salt. So, velo in fat. But yeah, boiled rice, chicken and mushrooms. I always go for boiled rice when we have the curry rice and chips, because I want boiled rice, not fried rice. Tell her that it's a salt ration for the week. It's crap food till next weekend. Won't work, because she won't remember by tomorrow. And there's been times when we've had curry rice and chips. The next day, what do you want for your dinner? Curry rice and chips. We had that last night. Oh, can I have curry rice and chips instead anyway? And it's very hard, because I want to give Mama Foxx what she wants. You know what I mean? She's 83 now. She's 83. She gets what she wants. But yeah, that's these guys done. So we'll crack on with the warband next week. This week, don't forget, of course, tomorrow I'll be back with the eModels Monday show tomorrow. I am hoping this week now I've got the part works out of the way. I've got to edit and finish up editing the part works video I've filmed. I'll be doing that later tonight, so it might go live sometime tonight or tomorrow, that one. I've got my Star Wars encyclopedias that I've got to film. And then once that's done, I'm going to make a start on the Canis Rex Imperial Knight painting video for eModels. So hopefully throughout the course of this week, I'll be filming that. Fingers crossed, time allowing. Of course, as you know, looking after Mama Foxx, time's a bit of a thing right now, which is why I've not been doing a lot of content, unfortunately. But hopefully that's starting to change. So hopefully they'll be going on the week. And then I'll be back obviously on Friday with Colin for the Festus Frolic. The Friday Frolic on his channel, Festus 67's Workshop. And on next Sunday with Warhammer Sunday. So until then, though, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, of course, if you'd like to keep this channel alive, big thank you to my patrons and channel members who do that for me. If you'd like to help keep this channel alive, do consider becoming a patron or a channel member. You can go to patreon.com/modelmakingguru and support me through Patreon, or you can just click the join button underneath any one of my videos and become a channel member. You get loads of free perks, access to exclusive content if you're a patron, and you both patrons and members get access to the free live offline 24/7 Zoom hangout where you can drop in and out, camera and mic, or just a mic, or just text on the Facebook group. And hang out and just have a good time with other fellow patrons and members who are all modelling and sitting at the bench and having a laugh. It's 24/7, drop in, drop out, whenever you want. So do check all the links in the description below if you want to find out how to get access to 24/7 or how to become a patron or a channel member. But until then, I shall say massive thank you for everyone joining me today. Big thank you to Sai, who joined me for most of it. A big hugs to Colin, who's having his well-deserved day off today. Rest easy, buddy. I shall see you tomorrow. Until then, I shall say thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourself. Go make something awesome like these guys. Go be awesome. I say that, but you already are. Until then, I shall say adios amoebas. Ha! I get to say it this week because he's not here. He started stealing my catchphrase and it's... Oh! Adios amoebas!